Maduro's lurch into dictatorship. Maduro says all are behind bars for legitimate crimes and calls Lopez a violent hothead intent on promoting a coup. Government officials accused the opposition of inventing torture stories to sway international opinion against the Maduro government and create the conditions for a foreign intervention of the South American oil producer. The opposition coalition, which now enjoys majority support after long being in the shadow of Chavismo, especially during the 14-year rule of Chavez himself, is trying to keep the pressure on Maduro with daily protest. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
In Baltimore, the streets have gotten safer thanks to the success of the new Permanent Daylight Initiative, which aims to prevent crime by illuminating the entire city 24 hours a day using high-powered floodlights.
It's just that it's so bright all the time, even in the rain.
City officials say there have been zero violent crimes since the start of the program, except for one man who vandalized the light by throwing his body off a building into it. Now let's set our crosshairs on to Mountain View, California, where Gmail servers were down for nearly 2 hours today. In an online statement, the company said, "Tremble before Google. With the mere flip of a switch, we can bring you to your knees." After reestablishing service this afternoon, Google changed its logo and released a statement saying, if not appeased with a 20% increase in Google Chrome downloads by the next vernal equinox, they will take back their generous gift unto mankind of colored conversation labeling. All right, you can take off your helmet. You have survived the News Blitz.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves. You can dial in toll-free and bring up whatever is on your mind. It is the live Saturday edition of the program. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. So apparently Donald Trump has given a big speech. Presumably it was a speech. I have the text of it from WashingtonPost.com. I don't know.
I'm sure it's the best speech.
I did look. A huge speech.
It's huge.
I did take a look, and I couldn't real quick find, but I didn't look that hard. So we're just going to read some of the text of this, or maybe the whole thing. It's relatively short, as you can generally count on the first Twitter president to be relatively short.
Yeah, he gets right to it.
Yeah, and you know what? There's something to say about that. I'll give Trump credit where credit is due. I mean, he does.
Where is credit due?
Well, he knows how to keep it simple.
Okay.
And one thing that politicians are really good at is just blah, 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 blah. They can just talk, and they'll just talk you into the ground, talk you to sleep, and at least Donald Trump, he's listenable, you know? I give him credit for that.
Okay.
I don't know what else I can give him credit for, because he's definitely done some things that I don't agree with, like bombing innocent people in the Middle East. But there might have been a few things that he's gotten right. So let's see what he says about his own accomplishments.
But you're at least consistent on that with Obama, too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway, Donald Trump writes or says this. 100 days ago, I took the oath of office and made a pledge. We're not merely going to transfer political power from one party to another, but instead are going to transfer that power from Washington, D.C., and give it back to the people.
I'm so glad to have my power back.
He says, in the past 100 days, I have kept that promise and more. So, Mark, do you feel as though that you have been imbued with the power that has been with the government for so long over these last 100 days, that you have benefited by being empowered?
I can't think of one way. Really, I can't think of one single way. I mean, I got to say that I like his Supreme Court nominee, Gorsuch. I'm excited about that.
It doesn't empower you, though.
It doesn't.
No.
I like that he is looking at tax cuts. Now, frankly, I don't pay income tax. I keep my income low enough that I don't have to pay income tax. I like that he's, doing the whole lowering the corporate tax, not because I don't believe that the federal government has a moral ability to tax corporations. The federal government creates corporations so they can tax them. I think it's immoral for the federal government to tax people. When you create people, then you can tax them. but that's God and your mom, right? Those are the only people that I can see would have any kind of claim on you. But corporations are created by the government, so I think that's fine. However, the United States' 35% corporate tax causes multinational corporations to keep taxes outside of the U.S., and so they don't come in and bring the money back here. And I think that the economy and the people suffer as a result. So it has to be lowered in order to get up to speed with other countries.
Now, if he does actually reduce government regulations, as he's promised to do, but I don't know if has actually occurred, because remember, there was that executive order, and he actually mentions it coming up, where they have to find 2 regulations to repeal for every 1 regulation they want to add.
I can think of one.
Yeah.
The on the income tax form, you don't have to pay for not having insurance. So that is
that something that changed?
Yes.
Oh,
now with Trump, you don't have to pay. There's no fine for not
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
so there's
something.
A way. Yep.
There you go. All right, so kudos to him for that. Issue by issue, he says, department by department, we are giving the people their country back. After decades of a shrinking middle class, open borders, and the mass offshoring of American jobs and wealth, this government is working for the citizens of our country and no one else. Now, that's obvious propaganda right there, just bald-faced propaganda.
Well, there's some citizens it's working for, certainly.
You mean the citizens who occupy the government?
Yeah,
because
those.
That's ultimately who the government works for. They're there to protect and serve themselves. They're not there to protect and serve you. That's just that's kind of the scam.
That's the shtick.
Yeah, they want you to believe that about them, that they're there somehow to benefit you, that they are part of you, that we are the government, and all of this is just,
We're all in the same boat together.
Yeah, it's just a show. It's just a window dressing to distract you from the fact that the government is a criminal enterprise. And Donald Trump is the more likable head of a criminal enterprise. He's more entertaining than some of the previous heads of that criminal enterprise have been. And he may be effectively able to distract people from the fact that it is a criminal enterprise. And that's one of the bad sides about Donald Trump, is that he's managed to fool enough people into thinking, aha, this man is different. This is our one true man. This is the man who is going to lead this country to a new age of, promised land, a new age of productivity and freedom.
They may be able to hit productivity. I couldn't answer that. I tend to think that productivity comes in a realm of freedom and that we have to create more freedom. He is attempting to lower taxes. That's, in my opinion, more freedom. But it all remains to be seen. If the government doesn't quit spending, then you're just kicking the can down the road.
You mean if he lowers taxes and they spend the same amount?
Right. Republicans are known for deficit and spend, and Democrats are known for tax and spend. Mm-hmm. So what the problem is spending. It's not taxing. To me, I would rather.
Well, both are the problem, but if they don't solve one, then the others.
It seems to me that the government should pay for what it uses today. So if the government is of the people, by the people, for the people, I don't believe that, but whatever.
Yeah.
If it is, then those people should pay for what they use now. The government has been creating a debt since Andrew Jackson left office. Mm-hmm. That means that you're still paying on the Civil War's debt. Now, certainly some of it was paid off. Some of the principal was paid off, but it's still out there. It's still part of the debt. And I think that it is reprehensible, the amount of debt that's piled up. George Bush, it was $5 trillion when he came in. Obama, it was $10 trillion when he came in. Mm-hmm. Trump, it's $20 trillion when he came in. And if he holds the pattern, and it doesn't look like he's going to break it at this point.
No, he's bombing like crazy.
It's going to be $40 trillion when he leaves.
Yes, indeed. Now, if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. 855-450-FREE is our number. That's 855-450-3733. As we continue here, more from Donald Trump's speech. He says, the same establishment media that concealed these problems and profited from them is obviously not going to tell this story. That is why we are taking our message directly to America, which is, again, him trying to brand himself as something outside of the establishment, when it would seem to me that Donald Trump is the establishment, and if anything, he is sort of a move of the establishment to get people to still believe that there's a chance to change things.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
So there's this thing that they call the deep state. I'm not entirely sure what that is. To me, what it means is deep-seated bureaucrats that have been there, that are not elected positions, and they've been there a long time, and they're going to get what they want because they're the bureaucrats.
The people that don't change from one administration to the next.
Right, the people that don't change from one administration. That's excellent. Those people, maybe they're the deep state. I'm not entirely clear what the deep state is, but I would say that Donald Trump isn't necessarily that. Now, I find it interesting.
He's not a deep-seated bureaucrat. That's true.
That he has flip-flopped on just about everything that since he's ran.
Comparing what, 2013 Trump to 2017 Trump?
Oh yeah, well, 20 anything Trump to 2017 Trump.
Well, it just shows that he is the establishment. He,
I'm not
like
sure.
a lot of you just said he's flipped towards the establishment on all kinds of issues, right? So, the words coming out of his mouth are "I'm not the establishment," but the actions are "Yes, I am the establishment."
Maybe he's still fooling me.
Going on here, he says, we've opened the White House doors to listen, engage, and act. We've invited labor leaders, factory owners, police officers, farmers, veterans, and Democrats and Republicans and independents. The change began with the termination of, now I'll give him credit for this if it's the truth, that they've terminated the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Yeah,
that's a good move.
What makes you think that's good? What do you know?
I remember hearing bad things about that.
Okay,
if it's a trade deal, it's got to be a bad thing.
You haven't heard anything about it because there wasn't anything released about it. That's the thing is, I don't know. I tend to like these trade deals because I think they open up borders better. Even if I believe that free trade doesn't need a deal.
Which is why I'm generally against anything. Anything that says that, it's some sort of trade deal probably favors someone over another person. 855-450 free. You can join us on Free Talk Live.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
Hi there, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and we're looking in this time of terrible financial crash, terrible meltdown of the medical system, we're looking to pay people obscene amounts of money if you become a student of our business at Youngevity. We will help you actually take care of people better than the medical system has. Think about it. We spend more money in America for healthcare than all the other 218 nations the world put together, and they can't even solve weight loss problems. I mean, the medical system have a total mental brain fart, and if you do this, you will be able to save an enormous amount of people from being overweight, being obese. They don't even know what causes obesity. Believe me, we know what causes obesity. In the medical system, they think it's from eating too much. It's not from eating too much. It's actually a mineral deficiency. Do you solve a iron deficiency anemia with a bone marrow transplant? That's what they think. Do you solve a mineral deficiency that causes obesity with a gastric bypass? That's dumber than a stump. Contact us at gcnminerals.com. Learn how to lose weight, look good, and save yourselves a gob of money.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and join us here. Live Saturday edition. We're talking about the Trump speech that I presume was a speech, but we have the written version from the Washington Post where he's talking about his first 100 days in office. You are welcome to comment on that or anything that you want to discuss. Our toll-free number, again, 855-450-FREE.
Do you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty? Do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know people love to read them. Ever been in line in traffic and just kind of eased forward so you get a better look at that bumper sticker up there?
Sure, who hasn't?
Right. Check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic, liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com.
All right, let's go to your calls and thoughts, then more from Trump's speech here in moments. First up, Michael is in Virginia Beach. And by the way, you can connect with us on Skype as well. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. But let's talk to Michael. He's listening to WNIS. Hey, Michael.
Hi, thank you so much. And both of you are right. Donald Trump is the establishment, and he is a fake solution to the establishment because he was needed to keep control. Now, the question is, how do we change this? And I think that Mark and Ian have given us a model for how to change it. You remember the name Lois Lerner?
Yes, I can't remember why, though.
Well, she was at the IRS saying, we need to investigate these right-wing Christian groups,
yes.
These Tea Party groups. Okay, well, here's the deal. Donald Trump got about 15 million more evangelical votes than did Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Now, why did that happen? That happened because an Iscariot, a Judas Iscariot type in Lynchburg, Virginia, went on the air, did ads for Mr. Trump, and just plain lied about the principles of Jesus. Bald-faced lies. The suggestion that Jesus told the people, the Jews of his time, that they should vote for Caesar. Well, it's just ridiculous, but he did it anyway. And this is how...
Are you saying, hold on, just to clarify, are you saying that a talk show host in Lynchburg, Virginia convinced 15 million people to vote for Trump?
I'm saying that Jerry Falwell Jr. did that, and he actually took out ads for the Trump campaign. Now, here's the thing. Trump didn't have a chance until he did that, and Reagan didn't have a chance until Jerry Falwell Jr.'s father did that in 1980.
Okay.
So here's where you come in. You see,
tie this together.
Falwell represented the head of religious broadcasters. It is an army so mighty and so powerful that the pollsters in this country had no idea in 1980 how to reckon them in even when I was on the radio saying Reagan will win by a landslide for that very reason. Now, what you have done ties into what Lois Lerner was trying to do with Barack Obama, to alert us to the power of these nonprofit Christian organizations which have no mind of their own, which have a kind of Hitler-styled pastor ruling over the whole 50-some million of them, who can get on the radio or on television and influence them to vote for a single candidate. This is disastrous. This is why our intelligence community has been so up in arms over Trump.
Well, I'm just trying to think about this from the other side. So I agree with you that it is disturbing that people sort of lockstep, with, some leader, right? Like that always bothers me. Mm-hmm. However, what I'm thinking is that if I was a Republican, and I was hearing you talk on the radio, I'd say, what about those darn unions? And those unions tell them to vote Democrat, and they vote Democrat.
Well, you don't have any union that can deliver 50 million votes. You do have...
Wait, 15 or 50?
50 million
50. Okay. You think that was
Maybe it's not one union, but I would say the vast majority of them are public sector unions, and the vast majority of public sector workers vote with the public sector union, which says to vote Democrat.
Look, Michael, I appreciate you giving us credit here, but I'm not really sure, like, even if we were doing exactly what you were saying, which we're critical of a lot of organized religion here on Free Talk Live. I mean, that much is true, but we are ultimately a church-based show ourselves, just not the same kind of church like what you're talking about. Ours is a decentralized, inclusive group that's essentially a peace church, the Shire Free Church, an interfaith church, which means that Christians, Muslims, pretty much anybody who believes in peace is welcome there. But bringing, organized religion and its failings to people's attention, I mean, that's something we've done and will continue to do, but I'm not sure how that's going to have any effect on those people who are those organized masses within those organized religions.
Oh, it won't. It won't. But what they have to understand is if they organize as you have done, if they become tax-exempt churches themselves, if they use that platform to protect their income and use that platform to expand their influence, we can stop the Hitler movement that is headquartered in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Wait, you're saying that the other side should get their own churches?
Absolutely.
Well, aren't a lot of Democrats are churched, right? I mean, the Unitarians, for instance, the Quakers.
Most of the Quakers are Democrats.
Thanks, Michael, for the call tonight. I don't think that building another mindless army is, the solution to beating one mindless army, if indeed that's what was really the sort of the linchpin.
That's the suggestion.
Of the election. Do you believe that, Mark? That it was this, organized mass of evangelicals who came out?
The election was so close that you can call it anything, right? Like, I would say the election was lost when Democrats allowed Hillary Clinton to infiltrate the DNC and overthrow Bernie Sanders. Now, I'm not saying Bernie Sanders necessarily would have won against Clinton, but appears to be unimpeachable evidence that the deck was being stacked. Whether she and whether or not he would have won, the deck was stacked. So that's where I think the loss was.
Let's talk to Mike. He's in Dover, listening to WDOV in Delaware. Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Just first of all, you got some interesting callers. The last guy is just wow.
He's a character.
There's lots of reasons why. Yeah, lots of reasons why Trump won. I've been a local political advisor and think tank kind of guy for 20 years. I don't want to get into that, but I'm a small R, large L, and I'm not a Trump fan. I voted for Trump. Obviously, he was the lesser of two evils to me. I was supportive of Ted Cruz.
Mike, hold that thought if you would. I want to bring you back. We'll let you continue with us. This is Free Talk Live. More with Mike. Your calls as well. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
The final phase of extermination is set to commence now. And as population die-off becomes evident, you know it is the time of punishment in all that is written. The cover for mass die-off is evolution and global warming frauds, also used as false proof of their Christ. They are from the lines that were disinherited 2,000 years ago. Now they claim to be his Christ based upon blood type, DNA, and long lifespan. Go to unveilingthem.com. That's UNVEILING them.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com. Click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting. That's AGORIST hosting.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the program. We invite you to join us on the radio waves here. You can bring up anything that you want. We are talking about Donald Trump. In his first 100 days, he gave a speech about those 100 days. We've been reading excerpts from it, and we can continue that with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Mark.
By the way, I do want you to know about the official wallet of Free Talk Live. And by wallet, I mean cryptocurrency wallet. I'm not talking about something you can actually put in your pocket. Although if your wallet can be on your phone, you can, I guess, put that in your pocket. But anyway, we're talking about Bitcoin and some of the other cryptocurrencies that are competing with Bitcoin. The Jax wallet will hold several of those currencies, including Bitcoin, Ether, Dash, and more. You go to jaxx.io, jaxx.io, or your Google or Apple App Store, and you can download the Jaxx wallet there. It also has Shapeshift built right into it, so if you want to change from one currency to another, let's say you have some Bitcoin, but you want to get some Dash, you can do that right from inside the Jaxx wallet. It was created by Anthony Diorio, who's a Free Talk Live listener and one of the founders of Ethereum, and they made it easy to back up your wallet and recover your funds with Jaxx. They're striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jaxx, the official wallet of Free Talk Live, and it's, by the way, cross-platform, so you can get it for your smartphone, you can get it for Windows, Linux, Mac, browser plugins for Chrome and Firefox. So you can have your Bitcoin you can access it in various different devices and locations. jaxx.io. That's jaxx.io. As we go back to Mike, he's in Dover listening to WDOV. Mike, you were commenting on the first 100 days of Trump. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, so American politics is a little bit unique as to we have a two-party system, and we almost always end up with two bad choices.
Sure enough.
So again, I'm not a Trump fan. However,
why do you think we have a two-party system? I mean, there are other countries that do a first-past-the-post, winning situation. Why is it?
Well, that's a long conversation. I mean, there's a lot of powerful forces that want it to be a two-party system.
Yeah, exactly.
And they control the debates.
They can control. Well, sure. When you end up with the last two and you don't have good choices, you're stuck with one or the other.
Okay.
But being a libertarian, I think we have to move the American thought process to a smaller government. And a lot of times we end up with a cult of personality, if you will, and that's Trump. So if he gets us starting the process to a smaller government, I'll give him credit for that, and I think that's the right direction. Conservatives, any other group that wants smaller government, needs to encourage him to get these things done in the next year or two, or he's not going to be able to get them done. But with $20 trillion in debt, tax and spend isn't going to work. Spending with the current revenue is not going to work. I mean, we have to get to a smaller government, and if it takes an outside businessman to bring efficiencies from the business world to do it, I mean, I think that's a good thing.
Well,
I
think it's a good thing.
That's long been the promise of many a politician. Mitt Romney would say the same exact thing. Well, I'm a businessman.
Well,
the thing is,
don't forget Bush was a businessman too.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how good they were at business because the incentives of government are completely opposite from the incentives in business. And so, maybe they have some good ideas and, some vision, but once they get in there, they become corrupted or they already were corrupt before they got in, and ultimately the government doesn't have the same access to market signals that businesses do, so they don't have the ability, even with the right intentions, they don't have the ability to really know what the best thing to do is.
Right. I've run out of the ability to give them the benefit of the doubt at this point. I was a member of the Republican Liberty Caucus, like Ron Paul, and I'm a dues-paying member. But what I found during the Bush administration was that there were some great people out there that were voting for smaller government, but when they voted for larger government, they tended to vote big. So they voted for the Iraq War, for instance, which was $4 trillion. And that's where basically the deficit came from in that area. So I just don't think that I don't have much faith anymore that this is going to be the case. So let me ask you this. What is smaller government going to look like in 4 or 8 years when Trump's done giving us, hopefully, smaller government?
Well, I don't think it's going to be much smaller. I think it's going to be very incremental, but we have to start somewhere. $20 trillion just doesn't get paid off probably ever.
So debt is part of the smaller government? So lower debt is part of the smaller government?
Well, we have to reduce the size and scope. We have to reduce the federal workforce. We have to reduce the calf on the teat, if you will. We just have to move the mindset of the American people to smaller, more efficient government back to constitutional government.
How likely is that, though? I mean, who doesn't like? I mean, most of the people that I think are the core of this audience would like that idea. of American people coming to those conclusions. But it seems like we've got a very divided populace, and there's a very strong sentiment in the United States among a lot of people that government should be there providing all these things from, cradle to grave.
Well, at the very least, the things that they want. So let's talk about Social Security for a second. This is the single biggest expenditure as a line item for the government. There's most of my audience here is going to be listening on conservative talk stations, isn't going to be for cutting Social Security. The next one, Medicare and Medicaid. Well, again, they're going to say that's a separate tax. It's not part of the discretionary spending, and they're not going to want to touch that one.
Well, if
the
you
one
want
after that is the military, and
they
Trump
love that
wants to
too.
grow that. I don't see the government getting smaller when 75% of the spending isn't going to be touched by conservatives.
That's a great point, because if you have some sort of favorite government program, you can't let go of that, you can't support the idea of ending that, then you're really not any good. I mean, you can't help the idea of moving the state in a smaller direction if you're calling for it to expand or stay the same size in any area. What do you think, Mike?
Well, obviously, you exactly described the problem. We have 47 to 49%, depending on who you believe, of American taxpayers that pay zero federal income tax.
More than that.
They benefit.
It's more than that.
Okay, so let's assume it's half. It's pretty close to half.
No, I'm going to say it's more than 60% because it's half that don't file. So the 144 million tax returns were filed in 2009. There's about 305 million people. So if you presume some of those people were married, and I'm certain some were, say 200 million people filed a tax return in 2009. Half of those people paid taxes. So you're talking about 100 million people that actually are paying taxes. It's just a guess. It's a rough guess, but we keep on getting told that half of the people don't pay. It's about 2/3 don't pay.
Okay, I'll go with your numbers. I think you're a little bit wrong because you didn't account for children and so forth. But to me, that's irrelevant. The problem is we're at the tipping point now where you described it perfectly. Half the people want all of the subsidies that they will never call a subsidy. Social Security, Medicaid, housing subsidies, food stamps, 50 million people on food stamps. All of these people get this free entitlement that they don't consider an entitlement because I've paid my taxes, I've worked hard, when usually that's not the case. They didn't contribute enough to cover their dole taking, if you will. But the other half goes to work, works hard every day, doesn't have that much time to pay attention to politics. So the problem is a very difficult one. But we have to incrementally start people's understanding through education, through programs like yours, that it's going to come to an end. The full faith and credit of the U.S. government is just that. It's paper money.
Well, right. I mean, the government is at some point going to come to an end, and anything I can do to help, right? Anything I can do to help hasten that, I certainly want to do. But I got to say, I'm going to focus my efforts on promoting the idea of secession because, in my opinion, if we're going to try to help encourage people to think differently, I'd rather them think about leaving the United States and declaring independence. I think that's also a tough goal to reach, but I think it's even more impossible to try to turn
I
DC
think you
around.
should say it this way. To tell Washington, D.C. to go take a hike. People love the United States. They like red, white, and blue. They like stars. They like eagles, okay? And you can have all those.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't like the government.
Agreed, but they like those things, and the United States is part of that. You should say, I think Washington, D.C., we should saw it off right there at the Potomac and let it float out.
However you want to talk about it. Hey, Mike, thanks for your call, man. I appreciate your opinion here this evening. Our toll-free number, Our toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us, that's 855-450-3733. And you can also Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. Join the conversation here on Free Talk Live's live Saturday show.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-976-5978. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-976-5978. That's 1-800-976-5978. 1-800-976-5978.
Hey, diabetics. Yeah, you. Got a spare hour to waste going to the pharmacy to get your insulin or other meds and supplies every month? I didn't think so. Me either. I've got life going on, which is why I use PillPack. PillPack is an amazing online pharmacy. They package up all my diabetic meds and testing supplies into daily doses and send it to me every month, automatically. All I do is pay my normal copay. PillPack does the rest. I'm serious. This is a free service. They don't even charge for shipping. PillPack handles all the medical insurance stuff and even get with my doctors for my other prescriptions so I don't have to, which is good because that's the stuff I forget. But PillPack remembers everything. They even package up my daily vitamins so I remember to take them too. If you're diabetic, your meds and supplies are life and death, which means you need PillPack. Call right now for this free service. You may even qualify for $25 in free vitamins. 800-560-7310. That's 800-560-7310. Again, 800-560-7310.
The zebra of the plains is perpetually hunted by a myriad of merciless predators. With no purpose other than to feed monsters, the zebra spends its entire life standing around awaiting a violent death. They are nature's ultimate prey. The zebra paces the earth, patiently going through the motions of life, knowing that at any moment it will end in a sudden shock of pain and brutality. With its black and white stripes serving as an ostentatious beacon to any nearby predators, the zebra whiles away its time before gruesome elimination. Zebra wait on the pantry shelf that is the African plain before something finds it and, at last, remembers to eat it.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. Live Saturday edition, talking about the first 100 days of Trump. He has made a speech where he's touting his supposed successes, and we can continue dissecting that here. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
By the way, if you support Free Talk Live and you want to help support what we're doing with $5 a month or Bitcoin, you can do that by going to amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is with the AMP money, we will market Free Talk Live more effectively to radio stations all around the country. We've got about 165-plus radio stations now. And we could have 300, we could have 400. It's possible. We just have to make those stations aware that we exist and that we've been around for more than a decade in syndication, and that, you know, we're not going to disappear tomorrow. I think we've become, actually, I believe, the longest running nighttime in our hours that we're on, which are 7 to 10 at night Eastern time. We're the longest running show at this point. We've been around that long.
Yeah.
So you can help us with that. It's $5 a month.
Among the youngest people broadcasting still.
Yeah, even though we've been doing it more than a decade.
Yeah,
more
than like 15 years now. Yeah. We're still among the young. I'm afraid they're not really bringing in the farm team.
No, they're not. So anyway, if you want to help us with that mission of spreading the ideas of liberty and peace, and you want to get some perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the normal podcast commercials our regular podcast does, or the AMP-only Facebook group where you can interact with other Free Talk Live amplifiers and hosts, then you can do that for $5 a month with PayPal or credit card or Bitcoin over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's amp.freetalklive.com. Back to Donald Trump and his speech. I don't have the audio of it, so we're just going to read some from and it's relatively short, from WashingtonPost.com. He says that they have terminated the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which he describes as a 12-nation pact that would have shipped millions more jobs to other countries. He says, but leaving the TPP was only the beginning. We've also launched an investigation into foreign trading abuses and taken steps to protect the production of American steel and aluminum. Now, I don't know what that means, but protecting something when it comes to the government usually means regulating competition, but I don't know what he's referring to when he says
that's
that.
what it means.
To me, freedom is about the freedom to fail. And when you're in business, that's one of the things that freedom is about, that you should be free to make mistakes. You should be free to learn from those mistakes. You should be free to compete in an open marketplace with the entire globe. Any government policy, whether it be protectionist, whether it be import taxes, export taxes, whatever it is that they're going to be putting on to the marketplace, is a burden that the market shouldn't have to bear. It is anything but the free market. Whenever there's a government out there sticking out its hand with a club in the other hand or a gun in the other hand saying you either pay up or you can't do business or we put you in a prison cell, that's not the free market.
We got this here line on a map. It's where two armies stopped fighting some time ago.
Yeah.
And if you want to cross it, you're going to have to pay. That's not freedom.
He says after years of federal contracts going to foreign bidders, we are ensuring that government agencies enforce Buy American rules and give preference to American companies, and that American companies hire American workers. What do you think about that one?
I think that's going to sell with American workers, who are the people that he wants to have vote. But honestly, I mean, what that says is that we don't care anything about hardworking people in other countries that want to make a better life for themselves and their families. We want to pay entitled, high-paid Americans. We don't want, lower prices and better service from people around the world.
You could argue that, well,
by the way, 3D printing's on its way, and all the manufacturing jobs are going to be gone. Call it in 10 years. Just a guess.
There is that. You could make the argument, I think it's a weak one, that, well, it's the American government, so therefore they should buy American. I think that's really the best argument that they possibly have. But ultimately, if they're buying American and it costs them twice as much, then that's,
it's the taxpayers' dollars they're spending.
Right. That's less money that is available, or fewer dollars available to spend on other things. Now, we know that the government is going to be inefficient. We know that whether or not they buy from American sources or global sources, they are going to be inefficient and stupid with things. So maybe it all really doesn't even matter in the wash, because whether they have A or B as far as, how much money they have left over, they're still going to spend it all. You're not going to see a dime of it back. But regardless, I think that it still makes economic sense to get the best price on whatever product you're getting from wherever you can get it. And if you take it outside of the realm of government and you're just back into the realm of business, then it's insane to buy, and pay more when you don't get more for what you're paying for. That is an insane waste of money, and it means that you have less money to spend on other things that you could make, your business better with, or more efficient, or send your employees on a, buy them something nice, or send yourself on a vacation. It just doesn't make sense to pay more for something. It doesn't.
It generally doesn't. No.
Now, you could make the argument that buying local is somehow beneficial, and there's a strong buy local movement here in New Hampshire, where we're doing this show from, and I'm sure in a lot of places the whole buy local thing is a big deal. And I get the idea of supporting your neighbor and the efforts that they're putting into things. There's definitely an emotional concept there that I think is nice.
Well, yeah, okay, so buy local is a little different. So, for instance, I'm closer to Montreal than I am to New York City. Yeah.
Maybe barely.
Yeah, barely. We're closer to Montreal than we are to New York City here.
You're definitely closer to Montreal than San Francisco.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, I just got to ask myself, why should I buy some product that's, made in Phoenix if, versus it being made in Montreal? Why should I pay more for the lumber, which is what the Trump administration is going after Canada for right now? Why should I pay more for lumber simply because it crossed some line someplace? It just doesn't make much sense. Now, frankly, there's plenty of lumber here in New Hampshire. I don't know why they're not bringing that to market, but whatever.
I can see, and I get your point. So buying local different from buying in some arbitrary geographic national area.
I don't spend much time thinking about this. I tend to buy my food locally just because I want the food that I eat to be treated well in the process.
Okay.
This is one of the things that's nice about being a rich American, right? And by rich American, I mean anybody who lives in America. You're not scraping by hand to mouth. You can afford to think about where your food comes from, and that's it.
I don't know, Mark. I don't know if poorer people in America are buying, local meat at 3 times the price.
But they could. If they stop spending money on the beer and the cigarettes, they could spend more time thinking about where their food comes from.
So anyway, back to Trump's speech here. He says that they are going to ensure that government agencies buy American. He says, crucially, to bring back our jobs, we're going to pursue a complete renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement. We've lost nearly a third of our manufacturing jobs in the 23 years since that terrible deal was approved. Now, Mark, did you say on or off the air that you support NAFTA?
I kind of like NAFTA.
What is it?
The North American Free Trade Agreement.
Yeah, but it's not free trade, right? Like, if it's an agreement, by default, there are going to be rules in there.
Of course there are rules.
Okay.
Ian.
What's there to like about that, then?
Part of the idea is to diminish the difficulty of getting goods and services and labor across these particular lines. In this case, it's Canada, Mexico, and the United States.
So you're saying that those rules somehow have made free trade more possible? I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. Were there more rules before NAFTA? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That NAFTA actually lessened the amount of rules?
Of course. The default is isolationism.
No, the default should be open trade.
Oh, yeah, it was 10,000 years ago, Ian. I'm sorry, we're past that. Now we've gone to the areas of nationalism and isolationism, and countries say, no, you can't bring that in. Their customs agents steal the crap you try to send people in there. I mean, this is, basically what you have is each country is its own taxation farm where they raise tax livestock. Those tax livestock are the people who work hard, and they pay the parasites, the politicians, the bureaucrats, and those that live on whatever largesse those two classes dole out. So NAFTA was intended to tear down some of those previous tariffs and those sorts of things and create a better agreement. And I think that we can look at it 20 years on and we can say there were some failures and some things could be tweaked, but there were lots of successes within NAFTA too, and I would call it a net positive.
If you want to share your thoughts, you're welcome to join us here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We can continue. Trump's got more to say, and we'll continue dissecting that on the way here. And you can, again, weigh in on this or whatever happens to be on your mind. That's why we call it Free Talk Live. Open phones every night here. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Or you can add us on your Skype as username LRN.FM. We'll approve that once we spot it, and then you can call us there. So we got hour number 2 on the way. You can join us. This is Free Talk Live's live Saturday show. You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com.
Bitcoin.com recently reported Bitcoin transaction fees have increased by more than 1,200% since 2015. To many Bitcoin proponents, the current fee market is moving way too fast, making Bitcoin unusable for certain transactions. The fee market and slow confirmation times have also increased the tension concerning the block size debate. However, if there are wallets with low amounts of Bitcoin that can't cover the fees, they become virtually unspendable. Learn more at news.bitcoin.com. That's news.bitcoin.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, April 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.22 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,268 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,325. Antiwar.com reports since Turkey's attack on Kurdish targets in both Syria and Iraq earlier this week, cross-border fire between the Turkish military and Syria's Kurdish YPG has been a near-constant reality along Turkey's southeast, with the military reporting 11 Kurdish terrorists killed again on Friday. The U.S. has been complaining that Turkey is attacking without proper coordination with their coalition partners, which is doubly concerning for the Pentagon because the U.S. forces are often embedded with the YPG in anti-the Islamic State operations and other general training missions. Turkey's President Erdogan, however, insisted that the YPG fired first on Friday and that their strikes were simply retaliation over a serious mortar attack on their bases. Once again, however, there was no report of any Turkish military casualties in the attack. Turkey has long complained about U.S. military ties with the Kurds, complaining that they are all terrorists. The U.S. has heavily backed the Kurds against the Islamic State, however, and are increasingly concerned that Turkey's attempts to pick fights with the Kurds in both Iraq and Syria will seriously undermine the battle against the Islamic State. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports in his weekly address on Friday, President Donald Trump said his efforts so far have basically eclipsed those of any other U.S. administration in history. Trump marked the 100-day occasion, which comes Saturday, with the video message. He boasted, "I truly believe the first 100 days of my administration have been just about the most successful in this country's history," adding, "We're bringing back jobs. You ask the people of Michigan, you ask the people of Ohio, you ask the people of Pennsylvania, see what's happening." Those typically Democratic states all voted for Trump in November, lending substantially to his election night upset. Trump continued, "We are proud of what we are doing. In just 14 weeks, my administration has brought profound change to Washington. The most fundamental change can be found in the relationship between the people and their government. My administration is the first in the modern political era to confirm a new Supreme Court justice in the first 100 days. Perhaps the greatest change of all is the renewal of the American spirit." This week, the U.S. Senate approved the last of his high-profile cabinet appointments, which is a mix of conservative politicians and corporate leaders. The first confirmations occurred the same day Trump took office, January 20th, and the final department secretary was approved by the Senate on Wednesday. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. Reuters reports hundreds of activists marched on Friday to the hilltop jail of Venezuela's best-known detained opposition leader, Leopoldo Lopez, in the latest of a month of protest against the socialist government. Security forces blocked access to the decrepit-looking jail next to a slum in Los Tecos, an hour's drive from the capital of Caracas, as the demonstrators shouted Leopoldo and held signs reading "No to Dictatorship." This month's wave of protest against President Nicolas Maduro's government has led to at least 29 deaths in the worst unrest since 2014 rallies championed by Lopez, who was then arrested and convicted of instigating violence. Venezuela's opposition is demanding elections, autonomy for the legislature where they have a majority, a humanitarian aid channel from abroad to alleviate the economic crisis, and freedom for more than 100 jailed anti-Maduro activists. Supporters say Lopez, the U.S.-educated leader of the hardline Popular Will Party, and others are political prisoners who symbolize Maduro's lurch into dictatorship. Maduro says all are behind bars for legitimate crimes and calls Lopez a violent hothead intent on promoting a coup. Government officials accused the opposition of inventing torture stories to sway international opinion against the Maduro government and create the conditions for a foreign intervention of the South American oil producer. The opposition coalition, which now enjoys majority support after long being in the shadow of Chavismo, especially during the 14-year rule of Chavez himself, is trying to keep the pressure on Maduro with daily protest. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
On May 22, 1992, beloved talk show host Johnny Carson ended his 30-year run of hosting The Tonight Show with a farewell episode that included special guests Saddam Hussein, KKK Grand Wizard Virgil E. Griffin, and a musical performance by the Flag. On May 24, 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge opened, providing New Yorkers with a more efficient way of killing themselves and escaping their trash-ridden excrement-cake city. The monument's historic opening was marked by hundreds of people jumping 275 feet to their deaths in order to avoid waking up every morning with the smell of horse shit filling their nostrils.
Before the Brooklyn Bridge, there were very few ways for New Yorkers to free themselves from the cesspool in which they lived. One method was to tie cinder blocks on their legs and walk into the Hudson River. But of course, the banks of the Hudson were so brimming with garbage and raw sewage that the putrid stench would drive back even the most desperate suicide seeker.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the second hour of the program. We got more coming up from the speech from Donald Trump regarding his first 100 days as president in the United States. We've dissected a bit of that. We're going to do some more of it with you here tonight. It's Ian
and Mark.
We're going to your phone calls first, though, where we'll start in Utah, where Mark is on the line. Hello, Mark. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and a different Mark.
Hey guys, I flew back from New Jersey to Salt Lake City today, and I was in New Jersey for work, and I was talking with one of my coworkers, and he's considers himself a conservative, and he said he looked into libertarianism and it wasn't for him because he said he heard this guy being interviewed who called himself a libertarian, and prying and prodding, I found out that it was actually Austin Peterson he was listening to.
Oh no!
And yeah, I know. And he was thinking that Austin Peterson represents libertarian thought in some manner. And I guess he's right in some manner. He does, but he's not really a libertarian. You know.
Well, I mean, he's probably a libertarian on 90% of the issues.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to give him even that much credit because this is the guy who actively advocates the Libertarian Party eliminate the non-aggression principle. This guy doesn't know what he doesn't care about the principles of liberty, or he's actively, working against them, or both. But he is a danger to the ideas of liberty, this Austin Peterson character.
No, I don't know.
All right, well, but I'm not really here to talk about Austin Peterson. What I'm really here to talk about is my coworker had mentioned that he found these postings by a group called Boston Antifa, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that you guys have had phone caller in the past a couple of times from a guy from the Boston Antifa. Is
No,
that
he's
correct?
someone who claims to be, but I'm pretty sure he was just he was one of the fascists masquerading as Antifa. He was like an alt-righter who was just kind of trolling.
Oh, so you are aware of that story of the Boston Antifa and the fact that there were two people like in Eugene, Oregon, like a boyfriend girlfriend combo who somehow got into the Boston Antifa like Facebook page and was able to post on their behalf and stuff like that.
Oh no! What did they do? What did they take it over?
Yeah, they somehow, I'm not sure how exactly they took it over, but there was their Facebook page was basically hijacked by these two guys, this man and this woman from Eugene, Oregon, and they are actually alt-righters. They're alt-right / alt-libertarian, whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever the hell an alt-libertarian is. If there's something alt about your libertarianism, it's not libertarianism.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what Austin Peterson is then.
Yeah. So we should define for the audience, libertarianism means you can do what you want, so long as what you want to do does not harm someone else. And by harm, I mean something that's quantifiable. You can neither use threats nor force to attain your goals. And that's what...
Or fraud.
Threats, force, fraud. Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
And so that's basically the non-aggression principle. And so what you have here are these alt-righters who are basically kind of like the new Nazis almost, that they're up against these anti-fascists that are also very terrible people as well. They're basically two sides of this sort of the same terrible pro-government control coin. And they are facing off against one another. And you're talking about this Facebook group, which really is, pretty irrelevant. But ultimately, the typical Facebook takeover or any kind of electronic takeover would be they worked their way in, sounding like they were part of anti-fascists, and they fooled them, and then they took control because Facebook has terrible security features.
And so I was wondering with this guy that was from Boston Antifa, whether it was actually that guy,
could be
like that guy that was basically, he was just trolling is really all that it was.
Yeah, could very well be.
And just wanted to let you know that hey, you might talk to this guy. You can find the article on Google or something like that.
Thanks for the call tonight, Mark. I appreciate hearing from you. You too. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. My goodness, Mark, we might have had the honor of being able to talk to the troll.
Well,
it's kind of what we do.
Lots of people call in. We had George Bush call in one time.
Yeah, someone claiming to be George Bush. He's doing a fairly good impression.
Was offering ponies to everybody if he got reelected.
That was long before Vermin Supreme really kind of hit the scene, too.
Yeah.
Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's talk to Sarah in Albuquerque. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes. So once this sugar tax passes in Santa Fe, these people, they want to collect signatures, come down to Albuquerque and put it on the October 3rd ballot. So we have a mayor election October 3rd. Oh yeah, they're just gung ho. I mean, it's just gonna. If they do pass it over there, they're just gonna come over and just pass it here. And the councilors, there's Ken Sanchez. He wants sugar tax in Albuquerque. There's one councilor that he wants to run for mayor. He wants it. So
do you think that this is going to impoverish poor people or increase sugar sales on the black market?
Well, you know what? I think that, it's going to make, kids healthier. And then
you didn't answer the question.
How's it going to make kids healthier?
Is it black market, the sugar? No, people are just going to stop eating sugar.
Oh, yeah. Just like the drug war worked and, like all the gun bans and stuff. People just stop it.
Well, the thing about it is that you're right. They might do this black market thing that, but you know what? It's going to decrease the consumption of it.
What makes you think that?
People will.
Well, she's got an argument, Mark, because you quit smoking cigarettes once the government raised the tax on them.
Yeah, I quit smoking cigarettes because cigars.
Tobacco.
Tobacco. Because they brought a tax in 2009.
So doesn't that make her argument for her?
I suppose it's possible that some people will quit, but I mean, what are the costs in the process?
And also, what are the odds that children will quit? Because if you think about it, like a teenager or a younger person, if they're getting an allowance or earning some money in some way, they don't have rent to pay or any bills, so they just have disposable income. What is it? What difference does it make to them if the Big Gulp soda is 69 cents or if it's $2? I mean, ultimately, and by the way, the proposed tax could very well make a Big Gulp a $2 drink because they're talking about 2 cents per ounce. Tax is what they would be raising on these drinks.
Sarah, I mean, has anyone read any of the articles about what happened in New York when they attempted to institute this? And what do you think about that?
You know what? I heard about the New York. What happened to it? There was the golf size. He banned the big giant golf size. But what came out of it? I don't know specifically. But I'm very blessed that Michael Bloomberg has gotten dumped so much of his money. Like we're running for congressional elections or something. That kind of money got dumped into this election. It's amazing. So I'm just amazed that
I don't know. I don't know if there's any statistics. I know Mark is looking at something right now. I don't know if he's found anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the New York one. I thought it got repealed, honestly, but
really?
I couldn't say for sure. That doesn't make much sense, but that's what I thought.
Well, regardless, right now, according to a story from yesterday at KOAT 7 out of somewhere there in New Mexico, Santa Fe, according to this story, they're having early voting numbers smashing all-time records. The official election is slated for this Tuesday. So come Tuesday, we're going to know, or come Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to know how the voters of Santa Fe decided on this, because there have been... it's been a war. The soft drink companies have, of course, been spending a lot of money working to oppose this tax. And then, as you pointed out, Sarah, busybodies and do-gooders like Michael Bloomberg have been spending big money to support the tax. And we'll definitely, I'm sure you'll be calling us with an update. Thank you, Sarah, for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Do you buy Sarah's idea that increasing the taxes, I mean, in this case, significantly, is going to reduce the consumption of these goods?
New York Times says it does, that the evidence is in and that it works.
Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. However, as a libertarian, just because it does what it says it's going to do, we still oppose it because it's not freedom, it's force. You're using the threat of violence against people. If they don't collect the tax, men with guns will come and throw them in a prison cell. Can't we come up with more creative ways to dissuade people from doing self-harming things? It's Free Talk Live. Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadavi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition. You can join us right here. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I'm Ian.
And I'm Mark.
HostGator.com/FTL. That's /FTL, like Free Talk Live. That's where you go to get 50% off their regular prices over at HostGator. What is HostGator? They're one of the top hosting companies out there. You need a blog or a website, or maybe you already have one. You're tired of your current host and you want to move to a different one? Well, HostGator is excellent. In fact, they've got a 99.99% uptime rating, a simple one-click easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over the phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive and user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation and the simplicity of use into your hands. To get the special offer for you, Free Talk Live listeners, you go to HostGator.com/FTL, and that gets you 50% off at HostGator.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. So we go back to your calls and thoughts. More on Trump's first 100 days coming up. But first, we got Marcia. She's on the line in Albuquerque listening to Kiva. Hey, Marcia.
Yeah, I wanted to say also, okay, Mayor Bloomberg contributed $800,000 in the super PAC to this soda tax. Now, plus, if he's so interested in special ed for pre-kindergarten, he can pay for the whole thing. And do you realize people can also go right out of Santa Fe to all the Indian casinos where they can sell the soda tax-free, just like they do the cigarettes? And, I mean, seriously. So as far as the habit goes, it doesn't have to be broken. And plus, I mean, I went to school. I went right into first grade, not to kindergarten. So I just think the whole thing is horrible.
Is the
and
proposal? Hold on, just to clarify something. I mean, we're not in the area, so we're not intimately familiar with the proposal. Are they claiming that they're going to use the soda tax to fund education? Is that what they're saying?
Yes, pre-kindergarten.
Pre-K, okay. I see.
Yes, you can look it up.
See, so
But
this
the
way,
thing
if you
is-
vote against the tax, you hate children as well.
Yeah, that's often how it's done. You wrap the tax into some kind of schooling, and then they can say, if you don't like it, you hate children.
Well, wait a minute. How old are they if it's going to be pre-K?
That would be
And for-
before
for-
5 usually, for age 5.
And if I was a parent, I wouldn't even want to give my child up to strange people for pre-K.
Yeah, well, I think it's a terrible idea to give your kid up to strange people after pre-K for kindergarten and up. I mean, to turn your child over to the government is, to basically just accept the idea that someone else should be teaching them things in life, that the state that has ideals that are completely anathema to a lot of the people in this country should be the ones who are indoctrinating the youth is a scary concept. That's why I support the idea of unschooling and homeschooling and child-directed learning, letting the children and the family decide for themselves what they need to be learning, not some board of bureaucrats that's elected.
Well, I think now they can indoctrinate them also, but the question, the question is also, why are they why is Bloomberg involved with this? And I think it did go through in New York and it went through in San Francisco.
That is a good question. What is he doing with this particular tax? Is he trying to create this so it can then be used as sort of a boilerplate that they can copy in other communities?
Sugar taxes are picking up in different communities, and I think that what he saw was that he can do more as a community activist than he can as a politician, and he's never going to be president. Right? Mm-hmm. And so, and I'm sure Trump's figuring out that the president isn't king. So maybe Bloomberg just thinks, well, maybe I'll get what I want done by advocating for it.
Hey, Marcia, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
This is really the problem with voting. In this world, the people who come out to vote, and this will be a local vote, I believe Sarah
saying
said.
Record numbers in the early voting.
Well, she said that it was going to be in October, though, right?
No, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday?
The soda tax?
Okay. Is it in Santa Fe?
In Santa Fe.
Okay.
My understanding.
Yeah, so, this is not it may be record voting for a local election, but it's not going to be record voting for a presidential election where 50% of people tend to vote. So what you're going to have is a minority of people. A majority of a minority, so 51% of the people who come out and vote, which will probably be less than 15% of the population, will then decide who's going to have sugar and who's not, and who's going to get taxed and who isn't. Mm-hmm. Only rich people will be allowed to have sugar now. You poor people can't handle this decision.
Well, again, you're saying, Mark, that the New York Times has said the numbers are in.
Yeah, the numbers are in, but the New York Times probably, I haven't read the article all the way, but probably isn't figuring in Indian casinos surrounding the metro.
Yeah, but come on. The average New Yorker who is probably doesn't even have a car is not going to be.
So that's what I'm saying. New York and Santa Fe, different places.
I see what you're saying.
Albuquerque, I think Albuquerque. I'm not sure.
Santa Fe is the proposal.
Santa Fe is just the municipality?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not, it's a little place.
So, any
it's
town
not
outside.
Even a rated radio market, Ian.
Is that
it's
right?
It's a little place. It's the only state capital that I know of that is not a radio rated market. So
I'll be damned.
Yeah, and they probably do have some Indian casinos out there. There tend to be
whether
fewer...
it's the Indian casinos or not, the next town over won't be affected by the tax. So every convenience store, on the border of whatever the hell town is next to Santa Fe is going to be doing brisk sales in soda pop.
I would think if it's worth it, what I believe you're going to have every lower class, middle class, and upper middle class and rich family is going to take a trip once a month to whatever place and buy their sodas there and then bring it back to the house. Now, maybe there'll be fewer big gulps sold. I don't know the answer to that, but
what does a big gulp cost nowadays? $1? I remember back in the day it was like 69 cents or something like that.
I have no clue.
50 cents or whenever it was.
Can't drink caffeine.
Yeah, I don't drink that stuff either. But regardless, this isn't just going to affect soda. So it's being referred to as a soda tax, but it's going to affect like all of these proposed soda taxes that have been put out there. This is affecting any kind of sweetened beverage, basically. So
it's going juice isn't going to
be juices.
Juice?
I think so. I think
maybe,
juice is
included. Cocktail, cranberry juice cocktail would be sweetened, but not juice. Juice is this abnormal thing that's sort of taken out of the fibrous material of fruit, and it is sweet. but it's not artificially sweetened. Now,
Don't
I wonder
they add
about
sugar
this.
to a lot of fruit juices?
What happens if they add apple juice? So if this gets thorough enough across the United States, they're going to create sodas with apple juice instead of with corn syrup, corn sugar, or whatever.
Maybe.
I'm just thinking because apple juice is, basically
it's pretty sweet
sugar water.
All right, let's continue here. Your calls, your thoughts. Welcome.
Being from the Northeast, I'm all for it. We need more pressure, upward pressure on our apple crops.
Rosemary in Lynchburg, listening to WLNI FM. Hey, Rosemary.
Hi,
Hey.
Ian and Mark.
Welcome.
It's really great to talk to you.
Thank you.
I've been listening to your show now for a couple of months. Most of the time, I don't agree with anything you say, but I want to tell you, I find both of you so entertaining. And
Aw, thanks.
The other night, the two of you got to laughing about something, and it just made my night. I got to laughing, and I love to hear the two of you laugh.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but let's talk about something. So hang on, Rosemary. We're going to bring you back, and
Okay.
I'm hoping there was another reason you were calling besides saying nice things.
No,
it's always,
really?
well, let's talk about something. All right, well then fine.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Rosemary.
I appreciate it. I won't twist your
Thank you.
arm into it. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there, just waiting for your glass. With a ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number, 855-450-FREE, whether it's Trump's 100 days, first 100 days in office, which is what we started talking about. Now, the Santa Fe sugar tax brought up by one of our callers. Fascinating, proposal, terrible idea that is going to increase the price of sugary drinks, not just sodas, but, frappuccinos, Gatorade, energy drinks, lemonade, sweetened teas. Pretty much anything that is, sweetened with sugar is going to be taxed at 2 cents per ounce in addition to whatever its normal cost is. And according to, I was just reading some of the Q&As about this. They did a question and answer with the mayor of Santa Fe about the proposal. They're going to be taxing it at the distribution level. So they're not going to be issuing the tax as an add-on on the receipt, which means it'll be built into whatever the price on the shelf is.
I see.
However, you will notice if this passes, and they're going to be voting on it Tuesday in Santa Fe, you will notice that diet sodas, which are not sweetened by sugar, will not be going up in price.
Yeah, didn't they just release some study that shows that that stuff's bad for you?
You mean artificial sweeteners?
Yeah.
There have been a lot of people for a long time who've been saying things like NutraSweet and the other variants.
I think they might have just been borne out by some recent study.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, come on. Some sort of chemical that is, created by people is supposed to be safer than sugar. I don't think I buy that. Just sort of in the same way that margarine is definitely not, I don't think, as good as regular old butter.
No,
right?
I'd say that, the science has definitely come down on side against margarine at this point.
But imagine
in the 80s, it was absolutely the thing.
Yes, and, didn't it come out during World War II? Margarine?
I don't know when it did.
I think it did. I think it was.
To me, margarine was a new thing, but
yeah, I believe margarine came out during. Please correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, on this one. I believe margarine came out during World War II because you needed to support the troops and use margarine so the troops could have butter or something like that.
I would have thought that the trans fats would have held over better and that they would have used the margarine on the troop. What the hell do I know?
I could be wrong on that, but regardless. The proposal here, according to myritter.com, on what's it going to look like if this thing goes through. The tax would be levied against beverage distributors, and the soda industry is warning that prices will climb by $1.36 for a 2-liter soda. Remember, they will climb by. So whatever a 2-liter costs these days, you can probably get the cheap store brand 2-liter for what, 99 cents or something like that. It's been a while since I've bought soda, but usually
in the store brand 2-liter. Oh, I think you're talking about 69 cents.
No, okay, well, whatever. Probably anywhere from 69 cents to $1.50 will probably be what you're looking at for a 2-liter of from store brand to name label. And now add to that another $1.36 for a 12-pack. Add another $2.88, according to distributors. The most dramatic increase of all: a canister of powdered lemonade mix jumps from about $7 to $29, based on how much lemonade is made when mixed with water. So if you thought you could get around it by getting some sort of mix, apparently they've thought about that.
Well, considering that lemonade is lemons, sugar, and water, I think you could probably buy sugar and that lemon juice that comes in the bottle. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's green and has like a lemon on the front.
I love that stuff.
You just yuck. My wife makes my wife juices lemons to make lemonade. You just add that and mix some water and you got some lemonade.
Yeah, people are going to get creative, I suspect, with prices like this. Restaurant owners who oppose the tax say they would likely be forced to do away with cheap drinks and free refills for customers and staff, or possibly spread the tax increase across all menu items. Ooh, that would be pretty brutal, huh?
Yeah.
I think that would be
hit restaurants the hardest because they can't move.
I think that would be a mistake if a restaurant owner were to distribute the tax as a overall price increase. I think that'd be a mistake because if you leave the drinks as the expensive price, then the blame should rest with the government. They could even put a little note in there like, "Hey, we didn't do this. We told you not to vote for this."
That may very well be the case, but it already is Okay, so for one, a lot of people buy drinks when they go out, and the drink prices have gone up and up. I mean, it's basically $2 for a soda now when you go out.
At a restaurant, you mean?
Yeah, at a restaurant. When you go out, it's basically $2 for a soda.
Yeah.
And I think that the margins are much thinner on sandwiches and that sort of thing. If the soda's now $3.50, I just don't think people are going to buy it, and then you're going to expect restaurants to make it on the razor-thin margins that come with the sandwich or the entree, and they're going to have to raise the prices of the sandwich and the entree in order to be able to make it.
Let's go to Phyllis. She's in Virginia Beach listening to WNIS. Hey, Phyllis.
Yes, I'm doing fine. We have one of our talk radio fellows on there, and he's talking about this thing in New York. They're talking about starting with 3- and 4-year-olds.
Ooh.
Now, you're not talking indoctrination. You tell me it's not there. And as he was saying, it's just nothing but free babysitting. Just have the kids drop them off. You know.
You're paying through the nose for it.
No, but yeah, you and I will be, but not the one dropping off the kid because they're not going to pay for it.
Well, they're paying for it through. If they're paying rent, they're paying for it, right?
Yeah, government subsidized, middle class babysitting day prisons is what these things are, and
basically
they don't.
And as far as the margarine is concerned, way back when, right after the war, or just during the war, it was called Deco. It came in a plastic bag, and it was white like Crisco or lard. And you had this little button, little thing that you kind of pushed. It was a little jelly kind of thing in the bag. And you pushed it, and the yellow flavor, and you would just keep kneading it till the whole thing turned yellow, and that was margarine. Well, it was, like I said, it was Deco, and I think it was like a Crisco kind of thing. It didn't have any real flavor. This little button that you push, a little jelly kind of thing, and it would turn yellow. And then after that, of course, that was better for you than butter, which now they find out is not true.
Right.
Margarine is not good for you. They want you to go back to butter. And it's the same thing with the sugar stuff. Sugar is better for you than, and it's none of their damn business what you want to eat or drink.
I'm with you, Phyllis.
They really think it is.
Anyway.
I am totally on board with you, Phyllis.
If they can get into your pockets, they don't care what they say.
Indeed.
Phyllis, great call.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450 free. And by the way, Mark, there was rationing of butter during World War II. So that's one of the times when margarine got real popular.
So this is a great example of how what we say here on the show. A government that has the right to limit you in a way or to tax you in a way has a right to limit and tax you in any way.
They can do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if a government has the right to tax you 2 cents on every ounce of sugary beverage that you buy from the distributor, because this isn't going in on the retail level, if they have that right, every 2 cents, just 2 cents on every ounce.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the big deal? We're going to use it for pre-K. I mean, isn't that great? Don't we want kids to have pre-K? Think of the poor kids. We would want them to have that, wouldn't we? Well, that's it. Because once they can do that, they can do anything. Of course, they already can do anything because they've already done things like this. But this is why we're having this discussion. We shouldn't be having this discussion.
Right. Well, and the reason why they're this far is because people let it get this far. If people were to be like, let's say, our co-host on Friday night, Chris Wade from ThinkPenguin.com, who put his own freedom on the line. He's a business owner. And he stood up against some oppressive police officers in Manchester, New Hampshire recently. The video's up right now at freekeen.com. He put his own freedom on the line and the productivity of his business because he's basically the key man for his operation. He did that because he believes in freedom of speech and freedom of the press and was willing to put his, risk all of it to stand up against an oppressive police officer. He's gotten arrested for it. He's facing a year in jail as a result of it. If more business owners had the courage to, put everything on the line and say, no, we're not going to accept these taxes. No, we're not going to accept these regulations, we'd have a whole lot more freedom now. But because most people are afraid to do anything against the government, they just go along to get along. They bend over when they're told to bend over. They spread them when they're told to spread them, and they give up as much money as the government demands. This 2-cent tax is going to double the price of a 2-liter bottle of soda. It's a Coke Zero at Walmart right now, $1.28. It's going to more than double that. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-940-9829. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-940-9829. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-940-9829. That's 1-800-940-9829.
Hey, diabetics. Yeah, you. Got a spare hour to waste going to the pharmacy to get your insulin or other meds and supplies every month? I didn't think so. Me either. I've got life going on, which is why I use PillPack. PillPack is an amazing online pharmacy. They package up all my diabetic meds and testing supplies into daily doses and send it to me every month, automatically. All I do is pay my normal copay. PillPack does the rest. I'm serious. This is a free service. They don't even charge for shipping. PillPack handles all the medical insurance stuff and even get with my doctors for my other prescriptions so I don't have to, which is good because that's the stuff I forget. But PillPack remembers everything. They even package up my daily vitamins so I remember to take them too. If you're diabetic, your meds and supplies are life and death, which means you need PillPack. Call right now for this free service. You may even qualify for $25 in free vitamins. 800-560-7310. That's 800-560-7310. Again, 800-560-7310.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here. Our toll-free number is 855 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Now, if you're looking to avoid some sugar taxes, maybe you'll start buying online. That's an option, right? Now, you're going to pay more for shipping, right? But if it ultimately, the price of the soda in Santa Fe that they're talking about adding a 2-cent per ounce tax, we're talking about jumping up the price of a 2-liter bottle of soda by, in some cases, more than double, because you can still get them for like $1 if it's like an off-brand, or maybe if you get really lucky, a name brand sale or something like that. It's like 67 ounces, I think, is something, or somewhere close to that in a 2-liter bottle. So 2 cents per ounce, you're talking about a $1.30 there of just tax on one of those bottles. I mean, it's crazy. And if you love soda enough and you don't like the government, then maybe you're going to start buying things online. If that's the case, we've got a way that you can support Free Talk Live rather than giving money to the government. You go to shop.freetalklive.com and you can order your soda or whatever you want on there, because Amazon sells all kinds of soda and all manner of other things. And when you enter Amazon through the link you'll find at shop.freetalklive.com, there's Amazon US, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada. You just load your card up with whatever you want and feel good, because Free Talk Live gets a portion of the purchase price rather than Amazon keeping it all for themselves. So we appreciate you who do that. Go to shop.freetalklive.com as we go to your calls and thoughts here. And Mark, you corrected me that apparently Coke Zero is one of those artificially sweetened sodas.
That's what I've heard. I mean, it's zero there for a reason.
And so apparently the artificially sweetened sodas will not qualify for the soda tax, which means that people who weren't drinking NutraSweet or whatever it is they're sweetening those things with these days will now be guzzling down all these, man-made chemicals rather than sugar. Let's go to Jerry, listening in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, to WNIS in Virginia. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, guys. The soda tax thing reminds me a little bit of the porn filter you're talking about recently.
Why?
Although I don't think you should read porn, I don't like the government telling me I can't. And this soda tax thing is kind of reminding me of the same thing. Mm-hmm. But as I'm waiting to talk, I got to thinking about, I've lived in states where they always say they're going to let you start gambling. We're going to give all this money to the schools. And once they start doing that, the normal education fund seems to disappear, or the money gets routed other places.
Yep.
So where they may say, we're going to 2 cents a ounce for education. Okay, cool. That's a great thing. I'm with you. But down the road, we got a bonus money. We need to take this education money and do whatever.
Something else with it.
Right.
Something else politically.
Yeah. This is what happened in Florida. The lotto went through, and I think that was the mid-'80s that occurred.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And, the idea was we'll put the money towards education.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right.
there was no mandate as to how much money that education got out of the budget, like as a percentage. So what happened was, sure, all the lotto dollars go into education, but the amount of general fund dollars, the taxation dollars, they decreased in education. So the amount that education got was the same, or slightly more going up over time or whatever. But basically, no difference.
Just some smoke and mirrors, guys. All right,
Jerry,
you.
thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. I take it back. I'm looking here at the prices, at least on the 2 liters on Amazon of Coca-Cola. They're insane. So you probably would still do better if you bought them locally with a crazy tax.
Yeah, usually if it's liquid, that it's going to make more sense to get something that was shipped, directly for that purpose.
The first result is $14.92 for a 2-liter bottle.
That's probably for something that's come from Mexico or something with real sugar. Just a guess.
I don't think so.
Well,
anyway,
who in their right mind spending $15 for a 2-liter bottle of soda off of Amazon? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway,
just because it's listed doesn't mean anyone's buying it, right?
So, look, for me, sin taxes, as this is a sin tax essentially. Sugar's bad, and it is. Sugar's a poison for your body, in my opinion. We're just poisoning ourselves slowly. However, to me, it's the hardest one to argue against because these taxes do tend to be effective. They tend to be effective in driving down people's consumption. What you have to understand is I don't trust the organization that benefits, and that's the government.
Right. Well, I argue against it on principle. To me, the results are irrelevant. It's the cause. It is the root of it that is that is what is essentially so bad, and that is the use of the threat of violence and the threat of force against people to get them to behave in a way that you want to. So the do-gooders are more than happy to embrace the violence of the state to try to sculpt and mold people.
They don't see it that way, though. They don't see violence.
No, they don't.
Well, show me the violence.
Well, the violence is if you don't go along with it. If you don't do what they say.
How am I not going to go along with it?
If you are a distributor, because they're going after the distributors, you would have to refuse to participate, and then they'll send men with guns into your
but
shop.
The distributors are going to participate because they're in business.
That's right.
What the problem with this is, the violence is that basically it just drives down business for people who are selling sodas. And, like it or not, you may not like what those people do, but you're taking food out of their kids' mouths.
Let's
on
talk
this
to
one.
Eddie. He is the program director over at Kiva in Albuquerque. Or at least I presume that's who it is. Hey, Eddie.
Hey, what's going on, Ian?
Hey.
So there's a couple of things here that you need to know.
All right.
First, Michael Bloomberg spent $1.2 million on the campaign.
Jeez.
So that's a lot of money.
It is.
You have to wonder what he's doing. Remember
Any chance he's going to recoup that in any way?
Oh, I'm sure. Think about the take for them, and I'm sure he's on the backside with an open hand. I mean, who knows?
What's the take?
Probably, I'm sure there's something there.
Okay. Here, I'm going to speculate. Because I was reading an article with the mayor of Santa Fe, and the question was, how is this going to be collected? He says, to avoid a new bureaucracy, we'll hire a company currently collecting sugar-sweetened beverage taxes in other cities to get the job done as efficiently as possible. Cost of collection will be as low as 3%, ensuring more money for pre-K. So maybe Bloomberg has investments in that company. Just a speculation.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
So, I'm sitting here on a Saturday night feeding my son Chef Boyardee beef ravioli. There's sugar in that.
Yep.
And there's 5 grams of sugar that is in there. It's not total. And, Cokes, they've got sugar content per serving, 33 grams, 31 grams, whatever it happens to be. But they're all taxed. Once this passes, they're going to find themselves in a lawsuit. And there's no doubt that it will be a discrimination based upon how much sugar. So you're going to start having people like there's a natural sugar that is created, or a natural soda that's created in Santa Fe called Blue Sky.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're effectively putting one of their kind of postcards out of business. But if they treat Blue Sky differently than they treat, let's say, Crush or Pepper happens to be doing, hey. No. Hold on one second.
If they do that, I'll just finish the thought for you.
They got themselves a lawsuit. So this thing is
discrimination.
Pretty rich.
Sure.
The liberals up in Santa Fe just haven't thought through this enough. So I'm actually waiting for it to pass because they're going to find themselves in a lawsuit, no question about it. Now, here's the funny thing about this whole entire thing. The graduation rate for Santa Fe schools is 52%. Do you think you want your kids any longer in there than K through 12?
Right.
For pre-K? I mean, do you want to extend that success rate so that we're going? I mean, the people really haven't thought about this. The whole thing is to punish outside business. It's an insulated community with a lot of ignorance and insolence, and not a whole lot of families, and a lot of people flocking from 5 major states: Illinois, New York, California. And then you can go ahead and talk about the politics in each one of those. And you got a guy in Javier Gonzalez who really is just funded by a lot of think tanks coming from the left. So I'd like to ask, Ian, are you live in Santa Fe right now?
You know what? I'd have to pull up my affiliates list, too. I don't have a quick answer for you there. But we are on.
I hope you are, because Santa Fe is a petri dish, much like Albuquerque and the rest of the state of New Mexico, because of the amount of money it takes to control things. So we had an attorney general's race, or not an AG's race, a district attorney's race that was won with $85,000 of George Soros money. You have this thing that's going to be won by Michael Bloomberg at $1.2 million. But, the people here are so just insulated from the exterior. I mean, we're celebrating Trump 100, at least in my house, but I'd say 60% of the rest of the houses here in this state are not celebrating that. We are just very, very blue.
It was one of the blue states, yeah.
It's a strangely blue state, too.
We've got one newspaper, 3 networks that all repeat each other. and a whole lot of non-conversation going on. So I appreciate you guys taking on this
Eddie,
topic.
glad
It's
to
an
be
important
here.
one.
Regardless of whether or not they're listening live in Santa Fe, and they don't happen to be. Actually, tonight's the one night per week that they don't take. They actually take us.
We didn't bring up the topics.
Yeah, we didn't. We're actually on two different stations in the same cluster. There, we're on an AM and an FM that are two completely different, with a progressive station and their other one. So we've definitely talked about this before in that market, and we will continue to do so. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. That's Eddie from Kiva in Albuquerque. Hour number 3 is on the way. We got time for you. 855-450 free. Join us.
A funny thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Modern advertisers have been trained to look for trackability in their advertising, and web search ads are great for that. They also help you get the consumer that's looking for products like yours in the moment. But they're expensive, and they do nothing to convince people to try your product segment in the first place. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. If you can use national exposure, Free Talk Live's on more than 150 stations, and we can help advertisers with little budgets and big ones. Send me an email, mark@freetalklive.com. It's mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. Buying Bitcoin? Do it here. Want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Our forum is always open and censorship free at forum.bitcoin.com. There's no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. That's why this site is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, April 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.22 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,268 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,325. Antiwar.com reports since Turkey's attack on Kurdish targets in both Syria and Iraq earlier this week, cross-border fire between the Turkish military and Syria's Kurdish YPG has been a near-constant reality along Turkey's southeast, with the military reporting 11 Kurdish terrorists killed again on Friday. The U.S. has been complaining that Turkey is attacking without proper coordination with their coalition partners, which is doubly concerning for the Pentagon because the U.S. forces are often embedded with the YPG in anti-the Islamic State operations and other general training missions. Turkey's President Erdogan, however, insisted that the YPG fired first on Friday and that their strikes were simply retaliation over a serious mortar attack on their bases. Once again, however, there was no report of any Turkish military casualties in the attack. Turkey has long complained about U.S. military ties with the Kurds, complaining that they are all terrorists. The U.S. has heavily backed the Kurds against the Islamic State, however, and are increasingly concerned that Turkey's attempts to pick fights with the Kurds in both Iraq and Syria will seriously undermine the battle against the Islamic State. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports in his weekly address on Friday, President Donald Trump said his efforts so far have basically eclipsed those of any other U.S. administration in history. Trump marked the 100-day occasion, which comes Saturday, with the video message. He boasted, "I truly believe the first 100 days of my administration have been just about the most successful in this country's history," adding, "We're bringing back jobs. You ask the people of Michigan, you ask the people of Ohio, you ask the people of Pennsylvania, see what's happening." Those typically Democratic states all voted for Trump in November, lending substantially to his election night upset. Trump continued, "We are proud of what we are doing. In just 14 weeks, my administration has brought profound change to Washington. The most fundamental change can be found in the relationship between the people and their government. My administration is the first in the modern political era to confirm a new Supreme Court justice in the first 100 days. Perhaps the greatest change of all is the renewal of the American spirit." This week, the U.S. Senate approved the last of his high-profile cabinet appointments, which is a mix of conservative politicians and corporate leaders. The first confirmations occurred the same day Trump took office, January 20th, and the final department secretary was approved by the Senate on Wednesday. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. Reuters reports hundreds of activists marched on Friday to the Hilltop Jail of Venezuela's best-known detained opposition leader, Leopoldo Lopez, in the latest of a month of protest against the socialist government. Security forces blocked access to the decrepit-looking jail next to a slum in Los Tecos, an hour's drive from the capital of Caracas, as the demonstrators shouted Leopoldo and held signs reading "No to Dictatorship." This month's wave of protest against President Nicolas Maduro's government has led to at least 29 deaths in the worst unrest since 2014 rallies championed by Lopez, who was then arrested and convicted of instigating violence. Venezuela's opposition is demanding elections, autonomy for the legislature where they have a majority, a humanitarian aid channel from abroad to alleviate the economic crisis, and freedom for more than 100 jailed anti-Maduro activists. Supporters say Lopez, the U.S.-educated leader of the hardline Popular Will Party, and others are political prisoners who symbolize Maduro's lurch into dictatorship. Maduro says all are behind bars for legitimate crimes and calls Lopez a violent hothead intent on promoting a coup. Government officials accuse the opposition of inventing torture stories to sway international opinion against the Maduro government and create the conditions for a foreign intervention of the South American oil producer. The opposition coalition, which now enjoys majority support after long being in the shadow of Chavismo, especially during the 14-year rule of Chavez himself, is trying to keep the pressure on Maduro with daily protest. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Take the Field's mission is to inform baseball players that physical activity is nothing to be scared of, that a little bit of running can be fun.
Now, Rebecca, this obesity problem is nothing new.
Well, right. There is a culture of obesity in baseball that has been around for years. I mean, coaches even sub in healthy pinch runners instead of encouraging their overweight players to hustle, depriving them of the only cardiovascular exercise they might have a chance to get.
And a lot of these athletes have been playing baseball since they were kids.
Well, right. So they might have never learned any healthy habits.
Baseball is fine in moderation, but many of these men spend over 200 days a year playing it, and that adds up.
The program encourages players once an hour to take a 15-minute break from baseball to do something active, like go up and down some stairs, go for a walk, or play some basketball.
All right, well, thanks, Rebecca. If you're a baseball coach and you're worried about your players' health, go to takethefield.gov for a list of healthy activities and nutritious snacks. Coming up next, does America brains get worse hearing words correct?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. We started talking about Trump with the first 100 days speech that he made. And now we're talking about the soda tax. A lot of people have comments. We're going to get back to your calls and thoughts. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Soda tax is being proposed, and it's not accurate to call it a soda tax because it's going to attack anything with sugar, basically, any drink that has sugar added to it at some point in its process. So that'll include, frappuccinos, any kind of sweetened iced tea, coffee, Gatorade. All of that stuff will be included under this sugary drinks tax, let's call it that. But they'll be exempting diet sodas. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We've got Skype as well. It's Skype username LRN.FM. We'll start with Philip in South Carolina. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Philip.
Yes, thank you. The wait was too long, but I think it's better that I made this contribution. Just before I say anything I have to say, I have a few questions, and you guys will know what I believe is that maybe you guys are journalists or maybe just media commentators.
We're just talk show hosts.
Interest. Yeah, okay, talk show host. But here is a question I want to ask, because many times I do hear this in America, people talking about the government, the government. Who is the government? That's the first thing. The second question I would like to ask
Well, let's answer that then. The government is a group of strangers who are threatening violence against peaceful people. That's who the government is.
Government. That's how you define government, right?
That's how I define it.
Well, I think the best way to describe a nation state is.
Then let me give the second question. The second question is: would it not be better that since the government, some of us don't really appreciate the government telling us what and what not to do? Should it not be better taxing us? Should it not be better that we just get rid of government and live in a state of nature, where everybody for themselves, God for all?
No, I think that people should. Better. I think that government is something that humans need, but that government should compete. Governments should compete in the same way that cell phone companies and insurance companies do. Insurance companies are very much in bed with government, but in the same way that service providers and people that produce goods compete against each other, we get better quality service and better prices if they compete. When an organization claims a monopoly privilege on the use of violence in a given landmass, and that's what a government is, then that organization is going to do what all monopolies do. It's going to provide crappy service at high prices.
Well, what is it that they're going to provide that I want?
Yeah, here's the thing. Your definition of government, I know there are a lot of Americans that are listening out there tonight, is a little bit different from my concept, because the government is the people. That is why, in fact, all these tax things, they took it to the people to decide on the vote. Now, my problem normally is with the idea that, if you're a talk show host, I had a very long wait on this program, and there was another lady that called and she was trying to raise some issues. But here's the thing. As a talk show commentator, if at all you are doing your work as a journalist, you should your program is a place for the cross-fertilization of views from the public.
Yes.
Now, if you take the line that you have taken, wait a minute, if you take the line that you are taking, you have already, even though you sit down in the studio as somebody who is controlling the calls that come in, you are not giving people the opportunity to have this cross-fertilization of view, but you have taken aside with those who are against the government. And
I'm losing. There's something lost in translation here, because we're in open phones.
Is the people. So
Phil, that's a load of garbage. I'm going to put you on hold for a moment here. Look, we have an open phone show. Anybody who wants to can call in. Maybe I didn't understand what he said there, because he's kind of accent's pretty heavy. But anybody who wants to support the state as is certainly free to call in, just as you have been. You want to promote this idea that the government is the people. We actually addressed this earlier in the show. That is nonsense. The government is made up of people, but it's not all of the people. It's a very small, select group of people who are more than happy to use the threat of violence and actual violence against the rest of the people to force them to do the bidding of what some people want them to do. And go ahead, I'm not okay with that. I got a real problem with that, Philip. Philip, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say to that?
I live in a small town, Conway, but I monitor your program most of the time, and I hear all these things about government. Get rid of the government. You don't need the government to get into your business. Live in a state of nature. Everybody for themselves.
That's what we have, by the way. Thank you for the call. That's exactly what we have today. there is a state of nature in that there is a large gang, a criminal element that is ruling by threat of force and actual force over these people. Mark, you said you want a government to compete. Well, you could already argue that the governments are competing. There are 50 state governments, and they're to some extent competing.
They're still claiming lordship over given pieces of land. I just IM'd you a piece of audio I'd like you to play for Philip and everyone else. I think it's very, very important.
Okay, I'll pull that up here. The Obama clip.
Yeah, it's very important. This is very important because this is the rebuttal to the government is of the people.
All right. So here it is from
the core of our military's relationship to the nation and how accountability is structured. I think you are privatizing something that is what essentially sets a nation state apart, which is the monopoly on violence.
What sets a nation state apart, Ian?
The monopoly on violence.
What sets a nation state apart from every other form of organization?
The monopoly on violence.
That's it. If you think that if it's a government of the people, it's people that claim a monopoly on violence in a given landmass. Barack Obama said that. I didn't make it up. This isn't his voice spliced together. This is the gosh darned lie that we've been told through government schools our whole lives.
Well, no, that was honest, what he said.
Right.
That wasn't a lie.
Right. The government is of the people. Government is of the people with the guns. That's the end of the story.
Well, no, not just people with guns, because there's plenty of Americans with guns, but most of them aren't willing to use them against their peaceful neighbors. That's what government is willing to do. That's what the state as we know it.
That is the concept behind the Second Amendment, that the governed govern the government because they have guns. In nations where the governed don't have guns, they do not govern the government. So at the end of the day...
Well, they don't govern the government here either, and they've got a bunch of guns.
At the end of the day, it's the people with the guns and the people who have the veil of legitimacy.
Meaning they can get away with using the guns,
Sure.
and people won't look at them as though there's a criminal enterprise that's hurting peaceful people.
Right. I guarantee you...
Oh, you broke the law. You get what you deserve.
If a government agent came to your house tonight, knocked on the door, when you answered the door, he shot you center of mass, that there would be lots and lots and lots and lots of people that would try to come up with an excuse as to why this was a perfectly
He was in fear for his life.
acceptable behavior. I'm not saying every government agent that shoots every person is somehow an evil individual, but what I'm saying is that they have a mantle of legitimacy. And that mantle of legitimacy carries with it an inherent danger. That inherent danger means that they're going to be less responsible. I'm not saying the government agents are unresponsible. I'm saying the incentives are there for them to be irresponsible.
Yes.
That's what's frightening, and that's what government is. You can sugarcoat it in whatever way you want, but at the end of the day, the government is people who have guns or are willing to use them.
That's right. Against peaceful people, because it's okay to use a gun in defense of yourself or your family from an attacker.
I got no problem with guns.
Yeah.
I got
they're willing to use them aggressively.
With an organization that claims a monopoly privilege. You know how you get a monopoly privilege? By sticking a gun in somebody's face and tell him, if you try to compete against me, I'll blow your head off.
Let's go to Rob in Chicago. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Rob.
Good evening, fellas.
Hey, welcome.
Well, you're certainly living up to the name of Free Talk, so very good show.
Thank you.
I don't want to sugarcoat anything because I don't want to get taxed, okay?
So, it's 20 cents an ounce. Or what is it? 2 cents? 2 cents an ounce.
Well, convert that to words then. You convert that to words and I'm in trouble.
Rob, hang on. I know you want to comment, so be patient. We're going to bring you back, okay? More with Rob here in moments in Chicago. Lots of people want to comment on this soda tax or sugar tax, and they should want to because whether or not Santa Fe passes this thing, it's probably going to be proposed in a city near you. This is Free Talk Live. Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL, and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL. Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. You know, as part of Hollywood for a long time, I've seen my fair share of celebrities get in trouble with the IRS. Well, there's one name I trust, the Tax Defense Group. They're the most trusted name in tax. So if you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, you really need to call my friends at the Tax Defense Group. Ignoring the IRS is not the solution. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, seize your home or business. But the Tax Defense Group could put a stop to all of that and tailor a program that would reduce your tax debt to pennies on the dollar. You gotta love that. So don't just take my word for it. Call them. Find out for yourself. They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And they're open 24 hours a day because they know that tax debt doesn't sleep either.
Call now for your free and confidential tax analysis from the most trusted name in tax. Call 800-361-6907. 800-361-6907.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. And that's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Of course, you can take control of the airwaves. We're going back to Rob in Chicago. You can bring up anything that you want. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, well, I'm in Chicagoland, and Chicago passed one of those sugar taxes upwards 2 years, if not a little bit more than that. But it's been in effect for a good 2 years. And because of that sugar tax, it affects mostly sodas, the vitamin waters, anything that's adding sugar to it, so any of your flavored waters and so on. The results of that caused, obviously, the obvious result. Sales went down. Of course, when sales go down, the company starts to lay off people, so jobs were lost. And that's the major effect of it. The other thing is that you guys are talking about aspartame, how
diet sodas.
Yeah, all of the diet sodas.
Artificial sweeteners and whatever. That has aspartame in it. Aspartame is a drug or a chemical that one of these big corporations, pharmaceuticals, came up with, and it is not good for you.
Oh, no.
It is very bad for you.
CNN's article here says that it apparently increases the risk of strokes and dementia.
It affects the brain. It's there's really they'll talk about cancer causing and so on. They get that and everything, including bubble gum, chewing gum. So anyone that's out there buying their Trident or whatever, that has aspartame in it.
Mm-hmm.
And any of these people that are high on health and so on are like, I stopped chewing gum, period, because it has aspartame in it.
Yeah, a lot of them
want
do.
it. You don't want that. Don't want that in your system. So here, this extends even bigger. Is this a tax because they want to fund a preschool? Heck no. That's just the excuse. You got to put that label on it, right? That's what these globalists need to do. They need to put that label on it. Oh, this is for something good. We're going to do this for the good of these people and this good cause. So that in itself, just like the lottery reference you brought up earlier, it's just bogus.
What is? And by the way, I'm looking here at the Chicago area tax, and it is a 1 cent per ounce. I believe it's 1 cent per ounce tax. They're proposing a 2 cent per ounce tax in Santa Fe. So I believe Santa Fe's is going to be, if it passes, the highest of those taxes in the United States.
Well, that's the goal, right? The goal is to stop people from consuming this stuff.
So my question is, Rob,
that's not the goal.
Has there been any look at how people's behaviors have changed in the city of Chicago since this tax?
I was thinking about that earlier when you guys were talking about violence and so on, the effects of it. Chicago's got the highest murder rate in the country. So who knows? I'm not going to put the two together, but that was a funny thought that crossed my mind. But I don't think one has to do with the other. I at least hope not. Less sugar is causing more violence. I don't think so. But
do you know of anyone personally who has reduced their soda consumption due to the tax?
Well, lots of people. If I walk in, I don't see specifically it's the city of Chicago that puts the tax on. So I live in the suburbs, so I'm not really too much affected. But anytime I'm in the city and I walk in any one of these convenience stores, a food store, whatever, believe me, no matter how thirsty I am, I'm looking for something more economical, and it definitely isn't a soda. So again, if anybody's effective, it's the distributors, it's the people that lost their jobs, and anyone that wants to continue to buy those products, any flavored water, soda, you name it, they're paying more money, which is, a lot of us in this nation have been watching what we spend, and that's a difficult thing. Is it, who am I speaking to, Ian or Mark?
Ian and Mark.
Both.
Okay. Well, the point he just brought up is it's a cause to have them consume less. I highly doubt that. I think, one, it is to cause strain on the distributors, so people do lose their jobs. People without their jobs depend more on what? Government.
The government.
Get your democratic government, communist agenda going, and they're dependent more on all the we're going to give you this. You lost your job. We're going to give you more welfare. We're going to give you more. Rely on us more. That's one cause. Another cause is, well, if the diet sodas and whatnot are costing less, well, guess what? Now they're drinking aspartame.
According to CNBC, Philadelphia tax has hit soda sales hard. Philadelphia's recent soda tax has led to a disastrous decline in soft drink sales, according to the beverage industry. Rob, thanks, by the way, for your call. According to the sources, supermarkets in Philly have seen Coca-Cola sales volumes fall 30 to 50%. As a result, many of them are cutting shelf space for the beverages like soft drinks, teas, and juices by as much as 50%. Rival PepsiCo has seen a 40% drop in beverage sales and only 10 to 15% bump in sales just outside of the city, leading to cuts of 80 to 100 jobs out of the 423 in the area.
I believe that those are the things that's happening. So the people that are pushing this tax in Santa Fe isn't the government. It's a little pack of do-gooders.
Well, some of them are in the government, the mayor himself and the city councilors.
Sure, but there's people bringing it there, Bloomberg and these folks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, they want to – you're right. You're probably right that they want to put in place this company that's going to collect the tax, and there's going to take a little vig off of that, and it'll be really great for them. And, what a wonderful thing to take money from poor people. But
nice little fascist deal there.
Yeah, but at the same time, I really do I think that this is pushed forward by the people who want to do good in the world. I don't think sugar's a good thing. I don't think you should be drinking soda. If you're going to drink more than one soda a day, that's, you're out of the realm of possibility here, as far as I'm concerned. However, that's what a free country means. A free country means that you have the freedom to make bad choices. If you only have the freedom to make good choices, you're not free anymore. And, by the way, who gets to decide what a bad choice and a good choice is? We just talked about margarine earlier here in the show. When I was a kid in the 80s, eggs were bad for you and margarine was good for you.
That's changed now.
Now eggs are good for you and margarine's bad for you. I'm not saying sugar's going to come back around in 30 years and suddenly be good for you. I suspect the answer is it will not. However, freedom will still be good for you.
No doubt. Let's go to Bob in Detroit. You're on Free Talk Live. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
How are you listening tonight, by the way?
I'm driving in a car near Battle Creek. I like to listen on WBCK.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're on our FM affiliate there in Battle Creek, WBCK. Very cool. All right, so what's on your mind tonight?
So I heard you guys talking about the government coming to your house and shooting you and no repercussions, it sounded like.
I didn't say no repercussions. I said that there would be a lot of people that would try very, very hard to explain away what occurred. Does that sound right?
Okay, that does sound right.
It's very rare that there would be repercussions, though. I mean, they might give a stern talking to somebody.
I got a story right
vacation.
Here about a lady who called 911 because she cut herself on some broken glass. The police officer came in and attempted to shoot her dog and missed and shot her child. What do you think is going to happen to that guy?
Yeah, we would have to also be implying that they make it until the police or anybody else gets here, because there's a lot of neighbors around, and they wouldn't really stand for that. So, actually, I do have a story.
What are you saying?
You think a neighbor's going to stop a government official from knocking at your door?
No, after they shoot you.
There have been plenty of people shot in their homes, and neighbors haven't done anything.
People divert their eyes whenever a traffic stop's going on. Well, I don't know what must have happened.
Thanks for the call, Bob. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. A lot of these homes that are raided and dogs shot to death, those are all done in neighborhoods. Plenty of neighbors around. What have they done? It's Free Talk Live.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com. A team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there, just waiting for your glass. With a ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Free Talk Live.
In order for this government to be legitimate, it had to have been legitimate in the first place. And that means that every person who was involved, who was on the North American continent at the time, had to have agreed to it. And if it was set up by force, if it was set up at the point of a bayonet, then it wouldn't be legitimate. It wouldn't be any more legitimate than me sticking a knife in your ribs and saying, give me your wallet. Oh, you gave me the wallet. It's legitimate. So the very fact that this government was set up by force, it was set up by killing other people, means that it's not legitimate.
That doesn't even go into the fact that everyone who set it up is long dead. It's been assumed to be this real thing, this valid thing, because of the magic scroll. They wrote a magic scroll. You know, they got out a piece of paper and wrote it down, and voila, and now it's a real thing that has legitimacy, right?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Join us on the radio here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's the soda tax or Donald Trump's first 100 days in office or whatever you want to talk about, you can bring up anything with you, Ian.
And Mark.
And our toll-free number, again, 855-450-FREE. Skype username is lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. If you're buying Bitcoin, you can do it through Bitcoin.com. Maybe you want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Well, the Bitcoin.com forum is always open and censorship-free. You can go to forum.bitcoin.com to find that. There are no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team, and that's why Bitcoin.com is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com with your Bitcoin. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. We're big fans of Bitcoin here on Free Talk Live. If you don't know what it is, it's a decentralized cryptocurrency, and you can learn more about what that means over at bitcoin.com. As we go back to your phone calls and thoughts, let's start with Eric. He's in Indiana, listening to WIBC in Indianapolis. Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's on your mind tonight?
Well, first off, Bitcoin to the moon, right?
We hope so. It's a record high over the last couple days at like $1,335.
It's shooting up. So the sugar tax, I'm not really affected by it. I don't drink a lot of sugary substances, but I feel like a lot of people are affected by the people consuming the sugary substances because I'm sure everybody else's insurance premium has been going up a ton.
Yep.
And all these people guzzling down, I don't know how many calories it is per like 48 ounces, and some people have 2 48 ounces a day, and that's just it's causing cancer, obesity. So tax the heck out of them. And spend that money on lower insurance premiums. Like, stop drinking the crap.
Well, so let me posit something else. Maybe, and I'm not going to say it's a conspiracy, but what is certainly true is that medical care is beginning to centralize around the world, right? Like governments are moving towards single payer, and that means that my business becomes your business very quickly because you've got to pay for it, just as you've said, right?
Yeah.
So really the solution is that my business shouldn't be your business. And
Exactly.
that insurance companies should be able to have different policies for different sorts of people. I can assure you that if they had any kind of ability to see the kind of diet that my wife, chooses that our family eats, they're going to be like, oh yeah, those premiums are going to be lower than somebody who runs around eating fast food and
drinking a bunch of soda.
So I think that this is really something the marketplace can solve significantly better than the government can, and we can't get there by advocating for more government, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so they should pretty much just do like health screenings every year and have everybody go through a physical. If they're going to do these like universal insurances, then give people who are taking care of themselves with their diet, give them a break, because I should go to the doctor, but I haven't felt the need to go to the doctor for like 5 years, but my insurance premium's gone up for $70 a year for the past like 5 years. So it's not really fair.
Indeed.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Unfortunately, as Mark's pointing out, and thank you for the call tonight, Eric, appreciate that, that this centralization of power in healthcare is driving people to think up these new ways to try to control their neighbor, and that's the wrong kind of mindset. Unfortunately, it's going to drive people that direction.
It's also classic slave-on-slave mentality.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what this is. My insurance rates are going up because of the fat guy drinking 2 48-ouncers every day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. Your insurance rates are going up because the government has mandated that they cover everyone. The government has excluded many insurance providers from given marketplaces. The state governments only allow a very few people to compete in a given geographic area. The government has driven up your rates, and it's easy to point at the fat guy drinking a soda because that's all he's got left in life, right? The opportunity for an NBA career has left him. Probably the opportunity for meaningful sex has left him. Pretty much everything. That's it. It's gone. All he wants is his soda, and you want to snatch it out of his chubby little fingers.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
Right?
You wouldn't
Just
give it to me.
one Pepsi.
Let's go to James. He's in Indianapolis as well, listening to WIBC FM. Hey, James.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call. I am a disabled veteran, Vietnam veteran, and
Sorry
I
to
was
hear
only
that.
on a flight. Well, it was on a flight last week, 1st of April, and went down up on the Lincoln Memorial, and on the extreme left-hand side of the memorial, there was a plaque to the American Communist Party. And I go, oh, my God. I remember back in the 60s, the 50s, and the 60s, if you were a member of the American Communist Party, you were blacklisted. You were not allowed to act in Hollywood. They wouldn't play your movies. They wouldn't play your songs on the air. And the thought occurred to me, oh, my God, they have now moved inside of our government. There are people inside of our government.
I need to understand this a little bit more, what happened. So you're saying you're at the Lincoln Memorial and that there's flagpole.
I saw this plaque.
A plaque.
I saw this plaque.
Okay.
And it brought back the memory of the American Communist Party. I could totally forgotten about it.
Okay.
I forgot they existed.
So wait, it was a plaque to the communists, by the communists?
No. It was not to them. It was just a statement of historical fact that they existed.
Okay.
It was, yeah. But it jarred a memory in me that during the 50s and 60s, members of that party were blacklisted.
Well,
and now they're inside of our government.
I guess the reason that you would want to look at why you don't blacklist people is because it goes underground, right? Like they didn't get into the government because they said we're American Communist Party members, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
They got into the government because they said we're liberals and we want to help. And
now we have the American Communist Party, and we also have Grand Dragons of the Klan that are in our government. Well, Robert Byrd was the Grand Dragon in West Virginia, and
he's dead.
Hillary Clinton. Huh?
He's dead.
But he tutored Hillary Clinton for 30 years, and when he died, she said that he was the best man that she had ever known.
Yeah, I think she had to retract that one too, didn't she?
Yeah, I never heard her retract it.
Well, just because she retracted it doesn't mean she doesn't believe it.
She doesn't believe it, yeah.
Right. Al Gore Sr. is a Grand Dragon down in Tennessee. these people are there. They've snuck inside the government, and they're controlling it.
Well, one shouldn't be surprised that when there is a state, which is this monopoly on violence like we were discussing before, that it will attract those who are the most interested in controlling the lives of others and sculpting the world around them to their liking. That is the kind of person, that is the kind of psycho and sociopath that is attracted to these positions of power. And the only way to solve that is to end the idea of the state. Thank you, James, for your call tonight. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, we are a long way from that happening because people believe they need the state, even though they realize that politicians are lying scum and that they do seek power. People understand that politicians are bad news. When you talk to them individually, they'll tell you when a politician's mouth is moving, they're telling a lie. I mean, everybody knows this about them, but yet they haven't disconnected the idea of the state from the reality of who it attracts. They still hold on to this belief that if they can just vote for the right person, that the violent monopoly that is the state, that we know of as the state, will somehow become this wonderful, efficient organization that's going to help things in life and make things better and fair and all kinds of fantasy that is not backed by the reality of what government really does, which is, of course, rewards their friends and punishes their enemies and uses your money that they've taken by the threat of violence to do that with.
Yep. And you might very well be their friend, but I can tell you, I'm not.
For long.
And they spend plenty of time trying to punish me.
If you were their friend a year ago, are you still their friend now?
Oh, you mean when the former president was in
right,
power?
because people fall in and out of favor as far as friends and enemies of the state are concerned.
That's true. It's a nice day to be a Republican as opposed to a Democrat.
Yeah,
right?
You can make the government this humongous, monolithic, powerful organization while you're in charge of it, but then what happens if it gets taken out of your hands? They'll turn it against you. 855-450-FREE. More coming up here. We got enough time for you. If you join us now, this is Free Talk Live's live Saturday show.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas. When I was playing ball, they called me the Big Hurt. But after I left the game, Mother Nature started putting a big hurt on me. I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, it wasn't my fault. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. But luckily, I found out about Nugenics.
Nugenics is a unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help boost your free testosterone levels. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting PRIME99 to 42424. With Nugenics, you can feel stronger, leaner, with a lot more stamina and energy.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenics is GNC's #1 selling men's vitality product. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting PRIME99 to 42424. Nugenics samples are not available in stores. So again, text PRIME99 to 42424.
Hi, John here again. After another month of being on several supplements from Synergistic Nutrition, including Synergy One, the Andreas Black Cumin Seed Oil, and other supplements, I've lost another 10 pounds for a total of 20 pounds. My belt size has been reduced by 1 3/4 inches. My knees don't ache as much anymore, and I'm walking my dogs twice as long as I did a month ago. I sleep very well and have a lot more energy. I noticed that when I cut myself accidentally, that I was bleeding much more profusely and that the blood was bright red. Previously, I didn't bleed much at all. It was dark red in color. So I know this protocol is working to keep my blood healthy. Additionally, I now have the energy to do calisthenics several times a week, in addition to the extra walking. My hunger has been reduced a lot. I take 2 shakes a day, along with each meal.
Call Synergistic Nutrition at 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
Attention CPAP users. Stop the insanity and torture of your CPAP mask. Don't you hate the skin irritation and terrible leaks? Jump on the CPAP Pro train, invented by an actual CPAP user that became so frustrated with CPAP masks. Are you ready to try something new? With absolutely no straps or headgear? Go to nomask.com and get the best night's sleep ever. Free to Medicare patients. Go to nomask.com. That's NOMASK.com.
If your home has hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wave Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wave Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Talk Live, dial in toll free and bring up whatever you want. Right here in these remaining moments, we have enough time for you. If you call now, our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And if you want to help support Free Talk Live, one easy way to do it is to go shopping with us at shop.freetalklive.com. We were calculating some of these soda taxes, and there's a 2 cent per ounce tax that may be coming to Santa Fe soon. Philadelphia's got a 1.5 cent per ounce tax on soda, and so apparently a 12-pack of Coke, which could cost $3 from what I understand, possibly. I saw some article in a Santa Fe newspaper. By the way, it's hard as hell to figure out what a 12-pack of soda costs because I never buy them, and the internet just doesn't have local store prices.
It's not like you and I are these high and mighty talk show hosts that never go to the grocery store either, right? For ourselves, that somebody goes to the grocery store for us. But by all means, we're at the grocery store at least every week. It's just that I don't buy soda. If I buy soda,
you would have known.
I'm going to buy a specialty root beer or a specialty ginger ale.
Right.
And
the ginger brew.
Those things are like $6, between $4 and $6. Right. A 4-pack that comes in bottles. That's the only thing that I can speak to intelligently. They will be taxed, but I'm already paying exorbitant, ridiculous prices for them anyway because I drink them rarely. And when I drink it, I want to taste every single sip. And I want to, experience it, as opposed to this is the beverage that I drink with a meal.
Yeah, you and I, we don't even drink a whole one of those. I mean, we get those main root ginger brews. And
you don't drink a whole one. I can drink a whole one with no trouble at all.
Oh, I can, but I just prefer not to, just because it's just so sweet. Half of it is just as pleasurable as the full one. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is because we do have shop.freetalklive.com. You can go shopping through Amazon at that link, and Free Talk Live gets a cut of the purchase. And normally, it's not worth buying drinks online. Like, typically, you'd have to be desperate for... You don't have any kind of place near you that you could go to buy soda, then you would buy online. But, the average person has a Walmart or a Target or something like that somewhere within driving distance, so it's no problem to just go or 7-Eleven or whatever, just grab one of the 12 packs there. But if this tax in Santa Fe passes, according to one article, you can spend $3 on a 12-pack, and that's probably on the cheaper side because they were saying you could buy 4 12-packs for $12. So let's just say $3 on a 12-pack. They're going to be taxing that $2.88. So $2 2 cents per ounce, 144 ounces, $2.88 tax. That nearly doubles the price of that 12-pack of soda at the register.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at just under $6. You can get that 12-pack for $5.04 on Amazon Prime right now. So a whole lot of people in Santa Fe are likely going to be doing online shopping come if this thing passes on Tuesday. So if you want to save big time on your purchases, because again, Amazon's got great prices on electronics and all kinds of stuff, you just go to shop.freetalklive.com, and that helps us out. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We'll talk to Tom in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live, listening online at freetalklive.com.
It's about ignition interlocks.
Okay.
And Mothers Against Drunk Driving is in favor of ignition interlocks as one solution because they are highly effective in stopping somebody who is drunk from driving a car. And so they are supporting measures that would allow a convicted drunk driver to shorten their suspension time and start driving legally if they get an ignition interlock installed in their car.
Okay.
But you ask them, what about Mr. and Mrs. 20? What if they get an ignition interlock installed in their car? Could they shorten their second-class citizenship time and they can start drinking alcohol legally before they're 21? Oh, no. So intense and deep-rooted is their seething hatred against these innocent, responsible alcohol drinkers that they could never support that. This is only for the benefit of convicted criminals.
It does seem really strange that so many people want to make 18, 19, and 20-year-olds criminals by the activity that all of them did. I can't tell you when my first beer was probably had in my 16th, after my 16th birthday.
Yeah.
And
yeah, mine was too.
There you go.
Mostly they want to blame their own criminal wrongdoings on a society that was tolerant of soft on underage drinking. But I do have another point to make about this, okay? And that is we're going to need a nickname, a name that's not already in use about anything else. Like, let's say Bill Clinton leaves his headlights on and he goes on into the bar and has a few drinks, and then he's got a dead battery, first of all. So he asks the waitress, Monica Lewinsky, she hasn't had a drink all night. She drives her car around and wires up the jumper cables, and first she gives him a jump start, and then she gives him we're going to need a name for that. He can't do the interlock because he's got alcohol on his breath, so he asks her to do that. We're going to need a name for that that's not already the name of anything else.
The person that breathes into the interlock device for you so that your car will start?
We're going to need a name for that,
I see.
Okay?
That's cute, Tom. Thanks for the call. Is he referring to a BJ? Was that what he was suggesting? No?
He's just talking about it.
Uh-huh. That wasn't what he was
I didn't get
alluding
that from
to?
it.
Okay.
Whatever you perverts were communicating to each other.
Let's go to David. He's in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, BJ, Bill Jefferson Clinton, huh?
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
The Santa Fe, I have been in the city council chambers during the city council meetings and addressed Javier face-to-face.
That's the mayor?
The mayor. Yeah, the mayor there sits in on the city council meetings as one of the members. It's how their charter set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And he from the local advertising in the media, Javier is behind this. I don't know what you were talking earlier about some small group of do-gooders versus the mayor himself, and he's part of that group of do-gooders, whoever it is. And I just from my experience here, I do believe it's not just doing good; it's the other political motivations that you've talked about. Especially, here's an interesting fact, and this is not down on the LGBT whatever community, which is extremely prevalent in Santa Fe to the point where I don't even like to be there as a straight male. It creates problems. But this isn't dissing them at all. This is just a fact that is, to me, it's unacceptable. When Javier became the mayor there, I noticed I was in front of City Hall one day shortly after he was in office, and the U.S. flag was on one pole and the state of New Mexico flag is on another pole. And then the rainbow flag was, of the three flags that were flying, the rainbow flag was flown up there with the U.S. flag, the state of New Mexico Zia flag, and the rainbow flag, which, it's fine to promote your cause, but I think becoming mayor and then doing it in such a way shows your your propensity for shoving your politics down other people's throats in a way that is maybe outside of what you should be doing. I mean, if I was elected mayor in Santa Fe, I don't think it would be acceptable for me to fly the flag of whatever my cause is, whether it's fathers that were abused in the court system over custody.
Is he a
like
gay
Alex
man?
Jones yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's openly gay.
I still don't think that. So
I'd take them all down.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm for that too. A government building should probably only be flying government flags.
Take them all down
if they're going to fly flags at all, right?
I would say take them all down.
I understand.
Flags are bad. Nationalism bad.
Right. Nobody's
That's
killed
how Trump
anybody
talks.
over a gay flag, though.
Not yet.
No,
Well,
I mean,
no
one flying a gay flag has killed anyone for flying. I don't know whatever the other flag is.
Yeah, well, maybe he's just been hearing that old saying about let your freak flag fly all these years, and so he finally took him up on it and did that.
Well, I mean,
what the
as
heck?
far as things that mayors do, I mean, there are a lot more offensive things that I can think of, like the soda tax is definitely one of them, and it's an
If I had to choose between the gay flag and the soda tax, he can fly that rainbow flag any old time. I suppose the only thing I've got to say about the gay flag is how come the gay guys got the rainbow? I think the rainbow's wonderful in colors. Who doesn't want that?
Indeed. Well, I mean,
now
I'm fine with gay people too. Hey, thanks, David, for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
But now, if I want to have a rainbow sticker on my
then
car,
people might think you're gay.
Suddenly I'm whatever, right?
Well, who cares?
Indeed.
I mean, who cares what people think? So, hey, we're out of time for tonight, but that's okay because we do a live Sunday edition of this thing we call Free Talk Live, and you can join us for that, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Those are our live hours. You may or may not be listening live. You might be listening on podcast or on what they call delayed broadcast in the radio later on. You can always find us online anytime over at freetalklive.com between now and the next show. And also, don't forget to amp the show for $5 a month or Bitcoin and get the cool perks at ampamp.freetalklive.com. Enjoy your weekend.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News.